Hello everyone, I'm welcome to the Hunter Association, your source for all things Hunter x Hunter. My name is Kaige.
And my name is Dylan.
And on this week's episode, we are joined by a very special guest, Radman, once again.
Thank you very much for having me once again. Pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to talk about the GOAT.
Absolutely. And on that note, we are talking about Ging this week, our character retrospective on Ging Freecss. Then, of course, we will be going through our community comments. If you would like to join in on the community and have your comment read, be sure to comment on the YouTube version on the weekly community post. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to help grow our community of Hunter x Hunter fans. Additionally, if you'd like to know when new episodes are live, click the bell to enable notifications. If you're an audio listener, make sure to rate, review, and comment on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at TXHXAPod, as well as Bluesky at THAPod for podcast-related updates and to submit responses to the weekly call-out posts. If you'd like, you can also still email us at hunterassociationpod@gmail.com. As always, we provide timestamps in the description if you would like to skip ahead to any of the aforementioned segments. All right, Radman, it has been since Gone Part 2 that you've been on, so fitting we bring you on for this.
Yeah.
Freecss family expert.
Yeah, that's my GOATs. Yeah.
That's right. There haven't really been many developments in the Hunter x Hunter world since then, so there isn't really much to catch up on with. But I mean, how have you been?
Yeah. I've been doing pretty well. I've had a great couple of months. Can't complain. I'm just excited for the next batch to drop.
Yes.
Working on a lot of Hunter x Hunter content at the moment, so
Ooh.
hopefully like getting those done will line up with the next batch releasing, just because it will be a hot topic at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right on. That's exciting.
Very exciting stuff.
All right. And for news, just the usual. He's been pretty slow tweeting. It's actually been like about a week since his last tweet. Yeah. But he is working on 425 currently, and he's up to page 7. So, yeah.
Slow and steady.
Yeah, that is cool to hear, though. That is cool to like. I doubt we'll ever get more than a 10 chapter batch at once, but knowing there's 4 or 5 more chapters already in the works, I would like for him to finish this batch before, well, the following batch before the next one comes out, as in 420 to 430.
Yeah.
Just to get some weight off his shoulders and like just make it easier for him to work, having that extra chapters completed ahead of time,
Yeah, that would be nice. I just worry that Shueisha would push him to publish all 20 if he were to finish 2 batches around the same time, and then it would kind of be for nothing.
That's also possible. That is also possible. That is. I don't think it will happen though, simply because we've had exclusively 10 chapter batches for like 10 years now.
Yeah.
Like the last eight or so batches have all been 10 chapter batches, a volume at a time. So I think he'll keep that going. Until the end of the story, provided it ever finishes,
Yeah, I have to imagine that's the case as well. There could be times, maybe, where we'll get like 2 batches within a year. It's possible, but it would still be 10 chapter batches.
Yeah, at the very least.
I'm pretty sure he did all of Election really quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
At the very least, I think this gives a lot of hope in that there wouldn't be as long of a break between these 2 batches, considering the amount of progress he's made on this, presumably second batch now, 420 through 430. So, we'll see, I guess. Only time will tell.
We did say the same thing last time, though, and it ended up being about a year. So
Life changes. I don't know.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, time does fly though. For me personally, it's gone kind of quick for me, because we went through that 3-4 year drought, and I hopefully we don't get one of those again. 'Cause that was tough.
I hope not.
The 390 to 400 batch we waited for a very long time.
That was the dark age. That was rough.
That was most people you talk to about the Hunter x Hunter manga had just lost hope at it.
Yeah.
That was
I certainly did.
That tree panel.
Oh yeah, the tree panel.
The tree tweet changed lives. Yeah, that was.
It did.
That was an amazing day.
That was a huge day. That's what that tweet single-handedly started this podcast. Actually, that's what inspired me.
That's
to
so
get
cool. Genuinely, like it sounds, maybe a bit sad to say, but genuinely one of the best days of my life. Like,
no, dude, I get it.
Yeah.
That was also during a really rough part of my life, and that shit coming out, man, that changed lives, including my own. That was a huge moment.
Regained hope.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, you love to see it.
All right. With all that being said, I think we're just ready to get into Ging discussion. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
Very ready. Yeah, let's get it.
Right. All right, everybody, welcome to our character retrospective on Ging Freecss. So this, I went into researching this retrospective with the thought of this being the easiest one I've ever done, just because of how little there is. But as I continued and realized how spread out his story is, this became absolutely easily the hardest retrospective I've ever written for.
Which is wild, considering you wrote for Gone.
Yeah, I mean, okay, Gone Part 2 was actually really hard. But this, I took off every volume I could think of that had Ging in it off my shelf. I was flipping through. I got those little Post-it notes and put them on pages to remember where shit was. I went full on research on this shit.
Yeah, I imagine Gone Part 2, it's a lot of stuff to write, but with Ging, you have to go discovering because they're just spread out in the most random places. You'll get a tiny bit of Ging somewhere, With Gone,
like
at least you can kind of identify the main points of the journey,
I literally felt like Gone looking for Ging. Just finding any little piece.
Awesome little meta there.
Yeah. It was fun though, but so in doing this, there will be things I missed, I'm sure, just little tiny bits. Free form as we're talking, we can throw in things we remember. There's even stuff I didn't write down that I might just decide to throw in that I remember in the moment. But there is just a lot of little details about Ging thrown around at totally random points in the series. So, and also we do not know the order of the events that we hear about.
Even better.
So it's all just
yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But pretty solidly, we do know a decent timeline of his really early life. Ging was born and raised on Whale Island, of course. He spent most of his childhood exploring the island on his own while Mito followed him around. So it was he had intentions of his own, but Mito just kind of tagged along.
Yeah.
Eventually, when he was about 12 years old, he departed from Whale Island to participate in the 67th Hunter exam. He was the only person to pass that year.
Makes you wonder.
I really like that detail.
Yeah.
That's exactly 20 years before Gon's. Gon's was the 287th. And I like the detail that he was the only one to pass that year. The only other person we know to have done that being Killua is really cool. Because it just reminds us. Because, it's easy to forget because they're obviously children in a world of adults, but the main two are, like, serious prodigies. It's just that the 287th exam was filled with crazy, like, Kisoka, Illumi, like, a lot of very, very, very talented people showed up that year.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, that was, like, noted as, like, a specific exam that was kind of like an outlier compared to others, right? Where, like, so many people passed it.
Yeah, I think we get something from the instructors talking among each other, like, whoa, there's a lot of like serious talents this year. I can't remember exactly when that was, but I do very vividly remember that.
I'm pretty sure that was on the airship when they were discussing, or when Netero was telling them about the rules for the final phase.
That would make sense. Yeah, I think that is the one. Yeah, all the interviews and stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's just an insane detail. I've always wished we could see that Hunter exam. Like, it probably wouldn't be the most entertaining thing in the world, but it would still be cool to just know, like, how he was the only one and what the circumstances of the exam were that year.
Yeah.
I would just want to know, like, how many phases did the exam last for? Like, was it like Killua's where there was, like, just one phase and he just, like, blew through everybody and was like, okay, well, you're the winner? Or was it more drawn out?
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting.
The only real detail we get about it is like how the captain that takes them off of Whale Island, definitely Jing made an impression on him. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's implied that he took Ging as well.
Mm-hmm. So right after his departure, Mito's parents died in an accident while on vacation, and his own father was lost at sea. Which is a detail I actually forgot until I looked at that.
I find that really interesting, just because obviously, what does lost at sea mean? I mean, we're on sea right now, and you know where we're heading, and obviously Don Freecss is part of that lineage. So it's like, who was Jing's dad, you know?
Right.
And that's something we'll probably get into later, is because even what you mentioned earlier with Mito following him around, the impression I've always gotten with Mito and Jing's dynamic is that it's supposed to mirror Gon and Noko being the only two people the same age on the island. So like so much of Gon and Jing's dynamic is just like one-to-one parallels.
Yep.
So what could that, does it go on generationally? Is that the case for Jing's father too, and then his father, which should be Don Freecss? I don't know if is Don Freecss his great granddad or his granddad?
We don't know actually. We just know that they have the same last name. That's it.
Okay, that's all we know. Yeah. That makes sense.
They're related somehow. Don't know how.
Yeah. Okay. If that's his dad lost at sea.
That's what I'm starting to think. It could be that. True. It could be that, but he has been writing for like a couple hundred years, though, if I'm not mistaken. Or how about this? What if Jing's dad was looking for his father, which was Dong? Yeah. So he goes to the Dark Continent, but gets lost at sea. That's what I was thinking. That's possible for sure.
Just an entire family lineage of finding their dads.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, though. Oh no, okay, that wouldn't work. I've always had this theory that time works differently in the DC, but in this regard, it wouldn't really work because he's been writing for, like, in human world terms, he's been writing for a couple hundred years. If I'm not wrong, I think it's chapter 345. I forgot the exact dialogue, but yeah, I've always just thought time is slower on the DC. That's been my theory for a while, for no real particular reason. Besides me just thinking it would be really cool for the DC arc to end and for us to return to the known world and see like young adult or adult Gon and Killua. I think that would be really cool.
That'd be an interesting way to present the time skip. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it'd be really cool if that were the case.
And it gives Gyro a few years to
I was just about to say. We could come back to a main continent like totally fucked by Gyro. And that's like the main...
I mean, literally, like, the protectors of the verse are all leaving, the known world. It's crazy.
All the Zodiacs are on that boat, and, like, other high-ranked hunters.
Yeah, it's just perfect vacancy for him to just completely dominate.
Also, the chairman is on the boat. That's insane, actually. What a wild play to send the chairman.
Like, they're all leaving. It's nuts.
Yeah, interesting times.
For sure.
It's easy to forget because we get so little of anything beyond the boat in the past 10 years of real world time.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Speaking of 10 years. Yeah. 10 years later, Ging returns to Whale Island with a 2-year-old Gon.
How did he come
about? How about that?
So he was present for 2 years with him, at least. He spent 2 years with the kid.
He did spend 2 years. It's very interesting. He explains to his grandmother and Mito that the mother is no longer around. Simply put, no specifications on it.
What a way to word that. That's like kind of suspicious if you think about it. But
yeah,
weird.
Yeah.
I mean, no longer is interesting though. Because, pregnancy stone theory. Because it's no longer around. Like, so that works against the theory. Because the mother would have never been around if that was...
Right.
And I think he's an honest dude. Yeah, maybe. That might work.
I would love if he considered the card to be the mother. The recording on the tape was him just reading the card description.
Oh my lord. Oh man.
Anyways, he intended on just leaving Gon with his grandmother for a little while, or a while. I don't really know how much time he wanted to leave him there. But Mito thought that he was not fit to take care of Gon in any capacity, so he fought to get custody of him and won, of course.
Likely the right decision.
This is cut from the anime. This is I genuinely such a crucial piece of information that I think really colors your perspective of Ging, because it's massive. Like, don't get me wrong, I think there is room for the whole Jing's a bad father stuff, and I definitely think, you know, I probably do somewhat agree with that. But it's so much more nuanced when you have this detail there, because Mito's right. He doesn't lead a life that's suitable for a little kid to be tagging along. So it's you know, you could argue he did the best thing for Gon there. But obviously that still doesn't factor in his absence for the next 10 years or so. But we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Just because Mito had custody doesn't mean he can't visit. And he never did.
Yeah. That's I do have a lot of like interesting takes on that though, where I do think visiting could be more harmful than good. But it really depends, because you kind of have to apply different social standards to it because of the kind of world Hunter x Hunter takes place in and the kind of person Ging is in this world. And keeping Gon in the dark and not even like letting him know he's a hunter or anything, and like letting Mito, we don't know if he told Mito to give the fake story of him and Gon's mother dying in a car accident, I think it was. I think they just offloaded Mito's parents' story to Ging and his quote unquote like partner, the mother of Gon. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. We don't know if he told Mito to do that, but regardless, I think it's interesting because what he does is he leaves the box. He leaves the box, which is like a parallel to the Pandora's box metaphor that he uses in the World Tree conversation, where he says adults with common sense don't open Pandora's box, right? So he kind of leaves that box that needs Nen to be opened, and it's like, if you come to that life yourself and choose it, then you can come and meet me. But if you just want to live a normal life and not be involved with any of this, you have the opportunity to do that too. So he kind of left Gon to just grow like a wildflower, you know? Like he left him in a place that's safe, that's shut off from civilization in a way. Whale Island is like just like an outpost for fishermen. It's a humble life with not much going on. And he just let Gon come to his own conclusions. With complete faith that he would follow in his footsteps. Obviously, he made a whole game for him and everything, but he didn't orchestrate it. He kind of just left it to luck with full faith that it would end up with Gon following in his footsteps. So it's really interesting, because I don't know. I struggle to like call him a terrible father because it's such a unique situation. It's definitely flawed, but it's so hard to get that right, being like a father in that kind of situation.
Yeah, it doesn't help that we don't really know the circumstances of Gon's birth either, and also what, like, if Mito didn't get custody, what were Jing's initial intentions with Gon?
Yeah,
who knows?
Exactly. That's a good point.
We might never really know. Maybe we will, honestly. Actually, I don't know. We'll see.
There's a lot of unknown factors that would very much like change the perspective of that entire dynamic for a lot of people, I think, depending on what actually happened.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah. I don't think we'll ever find out personally, just because Gon doesn't care. I don't see it coming up in conversation from Ging. Like, I don't see Ging sparking that in a conversation.
No.
Actually, well, the only way it does matter is if Gon's mother ends up being important, but I don't think that's going to happen either, just because of Mito's existence. So I think it's likely that we just stay in the dark.
I think so too, because I think that leans even more to like that character development that was shown consistently with Gon, especially of just like him proceeding to not care as much about like those little details like that of like his lineage and whatnot as time goes on. Like even like with Ging, he stops thinking of him as a father and more so as just a guy that he's interested in, right?
Just this cool dude. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next part of his story is all basically hearsay. It's just things we see said about him, or that he said himself at some point in the story. So all of this information comes from various chapters at random intervals, all probably out of order. I did my best to sort of put it into some kind of order, but I doubt it's anywhere close to what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, Ging devoted himself to excavating and preserving archaeological. How do you say this word?
Archaeological.
Archaeological.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ruins.
It's a tough one. Yeah.
That's a tough one. He used his fortune to preserve and restore ruins so that everybody could see them, which is a neat little thing to do. Honestly,
I find it
neat. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
He's showing so much love to these like historical ruins.
Yes.
this is like
I know.
this is like the one detail that like I wish they would touch on more, because they touched on it once at the beginning of the series, and then it's like never a trait of his again whenever he's brought up.
He does talk about it at the top of the world tree, but it's more like a footnote.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not
it's
when Satotes talked about it in the Hunter exam, it was like that's what
It was
Ging
like the
is.
coolest
Like,
thing.
that's
And
what's
that's
cool.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
kind of clash is
Yeah.
what always gets me. It's like it was treated as such an important factor of his character, and then it absolutely is not really. So
Well, see, it's just to illustrate how influential of a hunter he is, because that's the aspect of Ging that Satotes latched onto.
Yes.
But for other people, it could be
Yeah.
any number of the crazy ass things he's done.
See,
Yeah.
what I think is, so your next point is that Ging is incredibly rich, right? So I think it's possible that his riches and influence and fame came from doing that, like excavating and preserving archaeological ruins. But over time, now the Ging we're seeing now, he's looking ahead at. He's got
Right.
way bigger plans. So that was probably a good chunk of his life. We just don't know enough about his history and the exact timeline of it all. Because what you brought up is interesting. Yeah, Satots definitely made it seem like that's what he is, but Satots knows him through his public image. So
Right.
it's possible that other people know him by his public, like that's what people view Ging as. It's just that the people we get hearsay from, like Razor or Pariston or whoever it may be, they actually know him on an intimate level, so they latch on to other aspects about him. So
That's a very good point.
Satots is more of like an unbiased like observer who just knows him through like as a fan, basically. He's like a Ging fan.
Okay.
Yeah. In hindsight, Satotes is a great like first person to hear about Ging through, because it gives us a really a very early solid interpretation of who he is, but then it still leaves plenty of room to flip it on its head later.
Yeah, for sure.
So
And
yes,
it's just
the next
cool for,
thing.
like,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, I was gonna say, and it's also just cool that the really powerful instructor dude who just seems completely broken, just looks up to him in such a crazy way, right? It just it helps the myth of Ging that is built over the course of the story.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, Ging is an incredibly rich and influential hunter to the point of being recognized by Netero as one of the top 5 Nen users. I'd love to know who the other 4 are.
Yeah, the top 5.
Probably himself.
Maybe, yeah, probably.
Yeah, that could be a 10-hour conversation.
It sure could be.
yeah.
Power Scalar viewers would love
That's a
that.
tough one.
They would, yes.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's a really tough one. I've had conversations about that before, and
Oh, have you? I don't put much
never-
thought into that kind of stuff, but it is interesting. Like, specifically to talk about like who Netero would think are the top 5.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Netero
From
is such an
Netero's
interesting
perspective
person.
especially.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I think like in general, I'm not huge on power scaling for most stories, but Hunter x Hunter is one of the ones where I do find it really intriguing because it doesn't really have much power cliffing, in the sense that it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. It doesn't really have much of that. So
Yeah.
I find it really interesting to talk about.
Yeah. Netero would also appoint him as the Boar Zodiac, but he would later drop out of the position. We'll talk about that more later. But yeah, he was the Boar Zodiac for a unknown amount of years, but at least years. He is currently a double star hunter, but more than qualifies to be a triple star hunter. He is just too stubborn and lazy to go with the process of becoming one.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's my goat right
Sounds
there.
about right.
Yep. At some point, he meets Kaite and takes him under his wing and would eventually give him a final test to simply find him, which Kaite eventually does. This would take, I
Any
think,
theories on
years.
Yeah, it definitely seems like years.
Yeah.
A lot of people are convinced that he, used Kaite as like a conduit to like start Gon's journey in a way.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That-
to be
that is a-
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's actually something I wanted
think
to talk
Gon
about in
believes that.
regards. Yeah, well,
I
That's a
do
tough
think Gon
one.
believes that. Because in the story, so this is also changed in the manga because they changed the whole hunter license thing.
Right,
But when
yeah.
he shows the hunter license to Satots, and thinks it's Kaite's, and he finds out that it's Jing's, his like behavior in that scene, he's like, he assumes, because Kaite like accidentally left it there, but he thinks Kaite left it there on purpose for him, right? In that scene, how he comments on it, he says like Kaite left me with Jing's license. So I think it's possible that Gon like extrapolated further from that and thought maybe Jing put him up to this. Like there's not really like a concrete thing, is possibly not true.
Yeah.
But it would make sense in my opinion, because I do think Gon for most of the story really holds Jing on like a crazy pedestal, and through things like Greed Island. With Greed Island, he definitely is going through this mindset of like, oh, I have to win, I have to pass this because this is a test from my dad, So I think maybe he might think most of his journey is being like orchestrated by Jing because of how he looks up to him, and
True. Yeah, and Greed Island does reinforce that. But regardless of if Gon knows or thinks that, at least, I do personally think that Jing sent Kaite on this whole thing to, in a convoluted way, just subtly push Gon along the path.
Right.
And that's something I wanted to wait to bring this up, because you were talking about how Jing might not be actually the worst father ever. But this, I think, this is Jing really wanting to be right about his claim that Gon is going to follow in his footsteps. He's manufacturing
He is
a path.
things.
Yeah. And it's simply just like he doesn't fully believe that Gon will go on the path on his own, so he is putting like a surefire way for it to happen right here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
think about the
Which
type
is
of person.
just
Think about the type of person that Jing is as well, and like what we do know about him and his personality. Do we think that like with all that in mind, he would be the type to just take someone under his wing just because he felt like it? I'm not so convinced.
I don't really think so,
Yeah.
no, because he's never done that before, and it's not like Kaite's always with him. I mean, Kaite
No.
was on his own even after finding Jing. It's not like they're like, buddies, partners in crime, always doing everything together. I think Jing just kind of threw him out as soon as he was done with his purpose.
And even when they first met, like it wasn't like he took him under his wing out of like compassion. Really, I think it more so read to me as like, oh, you seem like you have potential. Okay, but like that's pretty much it. Like I don't know, he served his purpose.
Jing is strange though, so
He is.
I get what you mean. He's strange though, because like what we just explained, what we think he did with Kai is literally what he did with Razor, right?
Yeah.
Like he uses him for the sake of Gon. Like he's my son's gonna show up here someday. I need you to not hold back against him, right?
Right.
It's possible, right? Just especially because that reinforces it as well. That makes it. He's done it with Razor. Sure, he could do it with Kite too. But there is like so much compassion there still with Razor because of how he's helping him, and I think that also goes for Kite. Like he gets him out of a terrible situation. Kite was living a tough life, so I think it's just his really strange, really weird way of making connections and kind of. I don't want to call it charity work, but the reason why my mind went there is because Jing is also known for charity work, right? So
Sure, yeah.
it kind of like, in a way, it is kind of like charity work. Like I'll help you and make your life better, but I'm gonna use you at the same time because I'm strange and I'm manipulative. In some ways.
Yeah. I'm not. Maybe I was a little brash with like my explanation of that perspective. I'm not trying to imply that like Jing has like zero compassion at all, because like he definitely does have like hints of it at least. but I feel like it's
Yeah.
never at the forefront of his mind specifically, if that makes sense.
I just
Interesting,
think,
interesting.
and this is something I will be able to talk about a lot more later once we get Parison into the mix, but I just think that everything Ging does has an ulterior motive.
Right. Yeah.
Everything.
He's thinking 10 steps ahead with every decision he makes.
But again, we
It's
can get into
interesting.
that more.
Yeah,
later.
I'm excited to, because I don't know if I feel that way, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, this weird in-between period. So also he creates Greed Island in this time with 10 other people and legally changes, I guess you would still call him Dwoon, Dwoon's name to Dwoon with a D so that they have somebody to represent the D in Greed Island, which is one of my favorite Ging things ever. It's so funny.
Love it.
That is insane.
That poor
Yeah.
guy. And he has
I
it
wonder
done
if
in like
Togashi
seconds,
himself,
by the way.
like, I wonder if Togashi like had to change a character. Like, where did he get that idea from? I feel like because obviously Dune of all people has that real life parallel with that famous picture of Togashi, right? That he put into the manga. So like it's possible that it's based on like a real world experience. Like, where did you get the idea from, Togashi? I'm just gonna change this guy's name.
Yeah, you're right. There could be something there. I never really put much thought into it. But yeah, it is funny that it's Dwoon who is a character that like is supposed to mirror an image of Togashi.
Togashi, yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. During this time, he also, of course, catches a murderer named Razor who would have been given the death sentence, but he instead recruited him to help on Greed Island. He tells Razor that his son will come to Greed Island one day, and he orders Razor not to hold back and use everything he has.
That's another Gon Jing similarity, like befriending, serial killers.
True.
It's interesting. Like obviously Razor had a turn for the best because of it, right? He really appreciated it, and I'm pretty sure he says Jing showed me that anybody is redeemable if they're given the chance, and that is a beautiful thing, of course.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's an interesting way to communicate to indirectly communicate to your son. It's like, I got a serial killer to test you. It's like, it's interesting. I don't know what goes through that guy's head.
Yeah, and Jing does that instead of just, like writing him a letter or talking to him. It's just like, I'll just have the serial killer teach you my life lessons for me. Right on.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Jing asks Elena, who is one of the tower operators of Greed Island, the twins, for a favor in that if Gon uses a company to see him, it will instead send them to Kite. He explains that he is only willing to see Gon if he comes alone, not if he's a wimp that needs to have friends with him constantly. Right.
I love this moment. He is so lying there.
Yeah.
I think it's just the detours, right? Yeah. It's just if he's made a friend and he played through Greed Island with a friend, keep enjoying your journey. Keep go on to the next detour. Go to Kite. Do whatever comes next on your path. If you did this all alone, then you can come meet me. Like, I'll be your friend. I don't know. That's kind of how I read it. I do think there's especially his body language in that scene with Elena. It seems like he's very shy and embarrassed. He's like, just do it. So, I think he's definitely just coping with the whole wimp statement. And I think he just he's trying to do the best thing for Gon in his own weird way.
That's an interesting read on that. I've never heard that interpretation of that scene, and I can see that, actually. I think that makes sense. I've always been more of the pessimist about it, and that he doesn't want to see him yet, or maybe ever. But
interesting.
if I can definitely see that, because it is all about enjoying the detour. That's his whole life lesson, and that is definitely a detour. I mean, it almost kills Gon, but it is a detour.
Not the most enjoyable detour, all things considered.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very I really like that detail, because it is super interpretive. Like you can there's so many different outcomes you can draw from that. But I do think that just because, well, I already outlined why I think that, right? Yeah. It makes the most sense to me.
I get that. I mean, you'll find that I'm very pessimistic about Ging in general. I like Ging as a character, but I don't really find a lot of
Redeeming
positivity
qualities.
to say. Yeah, redeeming quality. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I'm kind of on the opposite end, so this will be a fun. This will be a fun. Talk.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk more about this, and
I'll
I
be
will
the
say,
referee.
fair enough. Yeah, you don't have as strong opinions on it, Dylan.
Well, I will probably, but I'll let you guys duke it out. It's fine. I'll let you guys take the heat from the comments for this episode.
Now I'm very open minded. I'm very open minded.
Oh, me too. Me too. I want to make that very clear.
Like Ging. Yeah.
Ging, he's a guy we know so little about. So really, our own real world experiences and any little thing can reflect on how we view him. So it's
Yeah.
all over the place with this guy. And the last thing I have written in this segment here is that he records a message for Gon that explains why he left him and who he is. He also talks about Gon's mother, but we do not get to hear that part.
And we never will, because it was deleted.
He did say it. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah. It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And, there's a few
I already
other
spoke
little
about
things.
why I love this.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I already spoke about why I love this from Ging. I mean, it is crazy, and it's like one of the lines he says in there really, I think, has a very destructive impact on Gon, with Gon's perception of things and trying to gain his worth when he says, hunters are egomaniacs, and like he sets forth the challenge, come and find me, you're a hunter now, aren't you? Yeah. But I do just love the line of thinking behind the box, right? The idea it can only be opened by Nen. It can only be opened if you choose this path, But what you mentioned earlier, he kind of set him on that path. So it's a really nuanced and convoluted thing that it's kind of hard to come to one conclusion on.
My read on it is that he manufactured this whole thing to make it seem like it's the illusion of choice. It's the whole classic thing. He wanted to make it seem like he had a choice, but really he didn't. He knew exactly what was going to happen. Even if it didn't happen, he was going to make it happen. Because
that's interesting. Yeah.
Some way or another, he has some kind of larger plan for Gon. And I will at least say, my faith in that idea has been shaken, but I'm not completely. I haven't completely given up on that idea. I think Gon's purpose in the story is far from over, but will we ever even get to see it? I don't know.
But, it's kind of depending on external
factors. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I would go that far, like the whole illusion of choice thing. It's tough. It's so tough because I think Ging he's strange, right? But I think he found fulfillment, and happiness might not be the right word, but he found fulfillment in the path that he took, and he is convinced that his son is the same as him, so he wants him to find that fulfillment too and put him on this path. But it's like it's kind of like, okay, if you turn out differently, you can go somewhere else, you can go down your own path, but I'm pretty convinced you're going to turn out just like me, so I'll give you all the tools to have that same fulfillment that I did. And all things considered, assuming 339 is the end of Gon's journey, it is like it's like a 60-40 positive negative journey. I'd say it ends on a very bright note, and it's overall a good experience for him.
Yeah.
And I think now in the story he has fully separated himself from Ging, and he's finally been reborn as his own person with his own, now he's searching for purpose that is completely external to Ging. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's too hard to say, I think, one way or the other. But I do like that idea. I will say that he provides the whole illusion of choice, because that has darker implications for the character that could be interesting for the next sections of the story.
Yeah, and that's, I'm not exactly saying Ging is secretly evil, but I don't think
you're saying he's
selfish.
Malicious in it.
Yeah, I think he has a purpose. Gon was brought into this world for a reason that we can't even begin to comprehend at this moment, but there is a reason. And
interesting.
I don't know. It's all Dark Continent stuff that we may never see, but it's still fun to think about regardless.
Yeah, it's yeah. I could see that. I could just as well just see Gon being the product of the detour at the same time, though.
Yes,
Like, it's
exactly.
tough.
And
Because-
I want to
yeah.
drive that home. I completely agree with you. This is just kind of where my head prominently goes to when I think about the topic. But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
open to that idea as well.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, so now we go to his actual introduction into the story that we get. Following the death of Isaac Netero, all of the Zodiacs are called to the Hunter Association to discuss the rules of the upcoming chairman election. This is where we are finally properly introduced to Ging in the main story. He declares that he is going to run for chairman and carry on Netero's legacy.
LOL.
All of this... well, yeah.
Well, what you said earlier about ulterior motive is absolutely true for this arc.
Yeah.
This
Everything
is
Ging
where
does.
all of that thinking comes from. As I read this, maybe it'll become even more clear, because this guy, he just knows everything, literally everything. There's nothing, and when he's wrong, he's like, "What the fuck? There's just no way that can't be right."
That one moment, that one page. When
Yes.
he's talking to Beans. When the quarry moves exactly as planned, that's what being a hunter is all about. Yeah, that you can definitely apply that to Gon. So I definitely see where you're coming from for sure.
So, all of the Zodiacs decide to draw lots and decide whose set of rules will be used for the election. Jing's rules are drawn, which Ging had actually written 2 days prior because he was able to predict exactly how this meeting would go.
What the hell?
Isn't that just nuts? Like, he just knows these people so well. And without them even knowing, like they probably have no idea that they know him this well. But he does. And he figured out this entire thing to the point of pre-writing the rules. And also, I'm going to read the rules. I wasn't sure if I would do this, but why not? I mean, this says a decent amount of about the character, surprisingly. So his suggested rules are as follows. 1. Every single hunter is a candidate and a voter. 2. If the candidate with the most votes hasn't received the majority of the votes, the candidates will be reduced to 16. If the latter rule isn't still not met, the candidates will be reduced by half until there's a winner. 3. If voter turnout is less than 95%, the election should be reprocessed. 4. All voters must write their names on their vote. All nameless votes will be considered null and void. And then, number 5, Ging will be the chairman of the election committee. And the 5th rule, obviously, is a complete bluff. This is to make the Zodiacs focus on that single thing as like, wow, that's so ridiculous. There's no way we can let that happen. So that it'll take the other rules, they can take the other rules easier. They don't even think about it because they're so focused. And making it number 5, obviously, genius. Yeah, it's the last thing they hear. It's the only thing they're going to think about. It's so ridiculously smart.
He's so slick. He's so slick, yeah. What this made me this just dawned upon me now. I think it would probably be hard to do for some arcs, but Ging is really like, he's kind of like at the foundation of the majority of the arcs. Like Greed Island, that's all about him. The Hunter exams, that's all about him. The Chimera Ant arc, it only happened because Ging did that whole thing we just talked about and sent Gon to Kai. The election arc is literally his election. He came up with how this is going to go down, and we see all of these rules play out. So I think Yorknu is the only one that really sticks out. I mean, that is really the only one. And obviously Succession War. That Yorknu and Succession War are connected in a lot of ways, and they share a lot of the similar plot lines. So those two are kind of like Kurapika's story.
Exactly.
But every one of Gon's story is tied. Like even Heaven's Arena, the entire point of doing that is because, if we're going on this really tough journey to find my dad, we're going to need to get stronger. We're going to need some money. So everything is kind of tied to Ging, whether it be loosely or very in like a really strong way. So yeah, that is very interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is. I can't help but feel like he's just pulling all the strings. And, it is also hilarious when he talks to Cheeto later. Well, I'll get to that bullet point eventually. But, like, he knows how this whole thing, like, when he sits down, when he goes into this building in this chapter, he knows exactly how this whole entire arc is going to play out. It only falls apart right at the end when Pariston, withdraw or makes Cheeto the VP and then drops out.
Yeah. That's crazy, though. Like, do you think... I was gonna say something, but it doesn't make sense because Cheadle is on the boat right now. Because I was thinking, like, if it went exactly how it was planned, and his plan was to make Pariston the chairman, what's in it for him? If he's trying to make Pariston chairman,
I don't know.
is he trying to isolate it? Because the first thing I thought was maybe try isolate him in the known world if this DC expedition is gonna happen. Because I'm sure Ging knew that was coming. I mean, he mentions it before Beyond is introduced, right? I think he's aware of what's going on. But yeah, no, like Pariston, the Cheetah was on the ship, so that wouldn't have worked. But maybe that means Pariston would have to be on the ship, though. Maybe he wanted him to be trapped on the ship. Maybe he has plans for the Black Whale. We're getting too deep into theory territory, but Ging deserves it.
Yeah, Ging
because either way, I don't know what he intended on happening, but either way, he has put himself intentionally currently in a position where he is with Pariston all the time, 24 hours of the day, basically. He's right by Pariston's side.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was thinking, like, if Pariston won, he'd make him his VP, and that would be the same thing. I don't really know. It's also up to interpretation if he even wanted Pariston to win in general, because...
Yeah, that is true.
Him reacting the way he does when he's wrong about that happening, it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, my plans are foiled, damn it. It could also just mean like...
it's just like... Because it could have all just been a game to him, and it's like...
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You never know with Ging. He's just a complete wild card. I have no idea what he's thinking.
I love it. On to the next.
Yes, so later, Ging attends a press conference about the election, which is where Leorio approaches the panel and asks Ging why he hasn't gone to see Gon yet. He first dodges the question and instead focuses on the fact that he's glad to see that Gon has made such good friends. Leorio is not happy with this and gets progressively more angry at Ging not answering the question and calls him out for doing so. Ging then responds by saying, "Did he say himself that he wanted me to see him?" Iconic. This rightfully sends... What's up? Go ahead.
That's a line that, I cannot blame anyone for hating, but it's again just one of those lines where I think there's something kind of compassionate there, because Gon's gone on this entire journey. No, because like Gon's gone on this entire journey, and he's kind of like,
okay, I see.
He's chased after me this whole time. Am I gonna show up next to his hospital bed? That's gonna feel like a failure on his part. I don't want to do him like that. That is a very charitable interpretation, I know. Yes. But it's there. Like, there is room for
I see it.
That's the cool thing with this character.
The factor of that is that, and it's what Leorio says, he literally cannot possibly, he can't say anything, period. And Ging knows that. So, I do get that. It is sweet in a way, like in Jing's way, as we keep saying. But
that's the thing. I wouldn't even say it is. I just think there's room for it to be sweet. You know what I mean? And that's why that's where I think Togashi really cooked with the character. I think almost everything he does can be interpreted in a negative way or a positive way. Like, there's always, like, he just exists in the gray,
We can agree, though, that he is a master at rage baiting here in this scene.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah. Gained a new fucking technique in the process, too.
Ging saying that classic line rightfully sends Leorio into a fit of rage, where he uses his Nen ability to send a punch from where he is standing to the table that Ging is sitting at and uppercuts him. We later learn that he let himself get hit by this so he could learn how the ability works.
Crazy. How can you predict that?
That is a really interesting detail, though, because it implies that contact is necessary for him to, like...
he literally says that. Yeah, he has to be hit by an ability to learn it.
He has to be hit by the ability. Okay. Okay.
Punching abilities in particular.
I forgot. Punching abilities in particular. That's interesting. Bit of a tangent, not tangent, but like not really relevant. But Leorio is kind of he's kind of an idiot for just like exposing his Nen ability in front of the entire Hunter Association.
The whole world. I mean, that clip became viral. It got him in the Zodiacs.
But that just goes to show how pure-hearted he is at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah, he didn't care. In that moment, he only cared about justice.
And getting that punch off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Then we kind of don't really see him a whole lot like as a prominent character for this point in the story, but he is eventually eliminated from the election in the 5th round of voting, landing at 13th place. Pretty good. Pretty
not
good.
bad.
For a guy who wasn't really trying, by the way.
Yeah, not trying at all, I'd say. Like,
Yeah, no.
Charisma definitely carried him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he literally had the panda show up for one.
Yeah,
of the,
so about
for one of the yeah.
Yeah, so when
Oh,
he's
yeah, sorry,
eliminated,
go
when he's eliminated from the election, he's asked to do an interview, and he instead sends a stuffed panda in his place. Right on.
Yeah, the source of so many theories.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Ging is next seen giving advice to Cheadle on how to win against Pariston, which again, this is also interesting given what we were talking about before, because is this like, does he? Even though he knows how it's going to turn out, he's giving this advice anyway. So, I don't know. A weird character.
He's just the ultimate fence sitter. Like he's just,
he is. During this conversation, he reveals to her that the day Netro died, Pariston sent 100 Hunter Association airships to East Gorto, off the record, to pick up 5,000 Chimera Ant hybrid cocoons. He believes that Pariston wants to have some fun with them. Whatever the hell that means.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. So this is still like one of the biggest details that are just looming in the background of the story that like kind of need some payoff. Mm-hmm. I've seen some cracked theories because of this statement. Like I don't know if you guys heard the whole Beyond and Pariston brought the Ant Queen to the NGL theory.
Yes, that came across our desk at some point down the road.
Yeah. So, yeah, that paved the way for that. I don't know how I feel about that theory, but in general, Pariston is up to something, and that could tie into what we were saying earlier, like why Ging is, sticking by him and keeping an eye on him. What is Pariston up to? It's kind of like his biggest detour right now, Pariston. It's like I want to go to the DC. Mm-hmm. That's plan A. That's my main objective, but this dude is very important. I need to keep an eye on him.
Yeah. Yep. Ging tells her that if things continue the way they're going, that the day of reckoning, as he very specifically calls it, will be the day of the next Hunter exam. He tells her to figure out the rest for herself and leaves.
There's some implications.
Whatever Ging thought was going to happen, I mean, obviously didn't, but
yeah,
it's very interesting regardless. Ging is in the crowd during the 8th round of the election and is forced to stay there until the election is over, because I think it's like a Pion or somebody locks all the doors. I didn't write it down, but something like that happens. During this time, he feels the moment where Nanika heals Gon and realizes this probably secures Pariston's win. Because I didn't really mention any details of the election at this point, but obviously, Leorio's kind of in the lead here. But when Gon comes in, it's all over for him. Gon arrives at the election hall and finally meets Ging right there. That's the whole thing this series had been leading to, and it's just right here,
right here in the crowd.
Yep, he's just sitting in a chair front row.
The myth is broken is such a great moment.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Even like visually, I think one really cool thing is that just Jing's design. We always see him looking like really kind of cool. Like he's clean shaven in the past. He looks young. He's got that cape on. He's got that turban hat thingy that he wears. But here he looks like a bum.
Yep.
He looks like a bum completely during the election arc. So Gon meeting him is like the visual difference is really cool. Because what it's doing is obviously breaking the myth of the character by having this huge series defining moment happen so anticlimactically, right?
I just love it. It's one of the most bold decisions I've ever seen in writing, but I love it so much for that reason. It works so damn well. Yeah. I've never seen anybody throw shade at this scene before, and that is remarkable. I'm sure they're out there, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. Likewise, it's crazy.
But yeah, it's just I was gonna mention it in the in between section, but like the first time we see him in the present is whenever Gon and Kilo are listening to that recording, and we see him like on top of a big thing that's on top of another big thing, like just doing some crazy insane shit. And then the first time Gon meets him, he's just sitting in the seat in the crowd of an audience, completely unremarkable.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Love it. Gon immediately apologizes for what happened to Kite. Ging tells him that it's not his fault and speculates that he is still alive because of his Nen ability, which is something me and Dylan have talked about a lot on
Many
this
times.
channel.
Yeah. So this scene is kind of like, this is my thing where once again I'm gonna be pro Ging again.
All right.
It's crazy how like within seconds he gives Gon such a valuable lesson, where he tells him like the rules when you apologize to friends. You promise you won't do you promise what you'll do next time, and you keep that promise. And obviously that's what Gon goes on to do in the following chapters with Kite and Killua. So yeah, I don't know. He kind of, I like how he snaps into, I don't want to call it father mode, but like mentor mode. I wouldn't say it's fatherly, but he advises the kid in this moment, and it's a very valuable lesson. I think it's exactly what God needed to hear in that moment, crying over doing his friends, doing Kite wrong, and also Killua, which isn't said out loud, but it's definitely what Gon is feeling at that moment as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can get behind that at least. So after telling Gon to see Kite again, Ging is insulted and chastised by the other hunters in the crowd for being a bad father. So
wow,
no, like he's actually scum for that one. The way it's drawn is absolutely amazing. It's just like Gon has the cutest, saddest little face. Like, can we talk more later? And he's just like, I'm kind of busy. He's scum for this. I'll say that. I'm not gonna defend this.
There's so much contradicting things about Ging, but that's what makes him so fascinating.
Yeah, but at the same time, like there's, I'm sorry, but there is room to like doesn't make him less scum. It doesn't make him less scum because you should grow a pair. That's your son.
Yeah.
But I do think he's very just socially awkward and shy in this moment, because what does he do? Obviously, he leaves him the note to go to the World Tree. He's just like, damn, I don't want to do this in front of all these people, But at the same time, you should be handling that a lot better, of course.
Right. Yeah. We'll talk more later. Let's get through this arc. So he picks a fight with the hunters in the election hall and promises Gon that they can talk later. Just kind of yells it to him on his way out.
Yeah.
The election eventually comes to an end, and Ging did not see the results coming at all, which is very notable.
Yeah.
Pariston wins, but then immediately appoints Cheadle as his vice chairman and then resigns. Very Pariston.
Got outplayed.
Yeah.
Yep. And I part of me has always wondered if Pariston honestly just did this to get under Jing's skin.
That's the only reason. That'd be so funny.
I'm sure that is not the case at all. He definitely has wild ulterior motives, but still, it's funny to think about. Ging leaves a note for Gon.
I think what he explains. I think what he explains to Cheadle is really what it is, right? I think Pariston is pretty deranged, to put it lightly. Like, I don't think he's kind of like a Hisoka, where his brain just operates differently, and in his own messed up way, this was like an emotional outburst and also a way to pay an homage to Netero and just like have one last big troll, in memory of Netero, because he's sad about his death, in a way.
No, for sure. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I would love to do a Pariston retro at some point. That'd be a really short one, but I'd still love to do it at some point because he's a fascinating character.
It would be like 90% theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ging leaves a note for Gon on the seat that he was sitting in, which tells him to meet him at the top of the world tree. Beans says that he tried to stop him, but Gon realizes that Ging never said that he would be waiting in the election hall. So, yeah.
Had to give him one final chase.
Yeah.
I'm gonna defend Jing again,
All
but
right, let's hear
like
it.
tying what we said earlier of like the whole did he say he wants to see me, and me saying like, oh, he wouldn't want to show up to him by his hospital bed or whatever, and that be their reunion. He kind of wanted to save it. I mean, it already happened in the election hall, obviously, but he kind of wanted to, make it feel like a chase and make it feel like Gon earned it, and like that he made him climb the tallest tree in the world to come see him, which, obviously that's a normal father in real world terms, that's a shitty thing to do, right? But in the context of Hunter x Hunter and Jing and Gon's relationship, I think it is kind of sweet that he did that and chose their meeting spot to be there, of all places.
Yeah, I agree. I think it works for the most part, but it's still, Jing's not the greatest guy ever.
Yeah, he's strange. He's
just strange. That's the big takeaway. He's just a weird ass guy.
Strange is definitely the right word here.
Yeah.
So later, Gon and Jing meet at the top of the world tree. There, Jing talks about why he wanted to be a hunter. He explains that there is so much more to the world than most people know, revealing the existence of the Dark Continent.
What a reveal.
Yep. I love how it's revealed too, like saying that, this tree that we're on, this is just like a sapling. There's so much more out
nuts.
there. Yeah, that's so cool.
That whole dialogue, I think, is very telling with Jing's character. Just how he thinks, and I mean, because this is where, I mean, we probably would disagree on this, but I think this is the most honest we see Jing in the entire story. I don't think there's any ulterior motives in the dialogue here. I think he's just sharing a conversation with Gon.
I agree.
And I think this is the truest we'll get from Jing. We have gotten from Jing in the entire story. So when he's talking about the people he like, the smiles on the faces of the people when he took them into the tombs and stuff, I think that is genuinely how he thinks and feels, right? So it is a really nice, neat bit of characterization, and it sets up the following chapter and the detour stuff really well.
Yeah, I pretty much do completely agree with you about this being the most real we've seen Jing, but it's still that part of my brain that's just like, he does bring up the Dark Continent. He's placing that seed in Gon's head. Is it for a reason? I don't know. It sounds like conspiracy theory stuff, but like,
I get what you mean. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
it could be. It's just a possibility, but I do also at the same time want to believe that this is just Jing at his 100% honest, full self. Either way, the scene.
No, but you're not crazy for saying it, like, because he literally like, the way he says it, the way it's framed, like, he's like, oh, there's a continent outside of this world. They don't teach you this in school, like he's giving him some crazy information, and it could just obviously just be that he wants to share something he's passionate about with his son, or it could be, how let me see how my son will react to this and what it will do, if it will spur something within him.
So Gon returns Jing's hunter license to him, and the two share stories about their time as hunters with each other, which obviously is a very sweet scene. He tells Gon
one thing.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just always the quote is really, really cool and great for Jing's character. The what I want is always the same, something I don't have. But it is very funny to say that to your son. It's kind of like he could read that like, I don't want you. Like, I have a son, I don't want that anymore.
Yep. That is definitely a very pessimistic view on him, but hey,
Yeah, funny ass line.
So he tells Gon that he wants to go there, but that he is not ready for it. He explains that he's in no rush to achieve his goal, of going there and gives Gon the advice to enjoy the little detours to the fullest. Of course, iconic.
Best chapter in the series. Yeah, in
I would
my
have to
opinion.
agree. I just reread that volume this morning, actually. Incredible.
Very nice.
Hey.
Love that chapter.
Yeah. Unbelievable chapter.
All right, so this brings us to the final stop for Jing's journey thus far with the succession contest / war arc. We only see Jing for
He
a
doesn't-
brief... Oh, go ahead.
We were just about to say it, right? So he only shows up in volume 33, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, a little bit into 34, actually. I think.
Does he? Because 34 is just Hisoka versus Crollo.
Oh, is it? Okay, never mind.
No,
never mind.
I think
so
it's
it's just
just
all
34.
Yeah, no, you would be right. You would
might
be right.
wrong.
I think you're right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, we only see Jing for a very brief period of time at the beginning of the arc, but we do get some good stuff. I would say a lot of good stuff out of him during this time, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
On the day that Beans shows the Zodiacs the message from Isaac Netero and his son Beyond Netero, both Jing, those are two separate messages, by the way, not at the same time. Both Jing and Pariston announce that they are resigning from the Zodiacs. We next see Jing in front of Beyond's expedition team, of which Pariston is a member. Jing dismisses Pariston's assumption that he will join, claiming that he is there to stop them. He states all of his theories about what Pariston is actually planning with the Chimera Ants, and that, well, I say he states them all, but he kind of just vaguely says them. We still don't really know full details about what he was thinking he was going to do.
Yeah.
The same thing he was telling Cheadle, basically. And by being a part of the expedition team in general. He concludes that both of them think in unorthodox ways, which is why he can understand the way he thinks. It's getting into interesting territory with the two of these. We have a very fun cat and mouse game being played by the two of them, which obviously we haven't had any updates on in a very long time, but it's still such an interesting part of the story right now.
Sometime soon, surely.
Like half the fandom is convinced they're both on the ship. Like that's how crazy it is. Like we genuinely don't know what's going on.
We have no idea.
I had one question I was going to bring up. Do we know the time? Do we know if there's like any time skip or just the time difference in general between 339 and 340?
From what I can find, no. There is a solid time skip here in a second of a month, but I don't know about between like World Tree and this. No idea.
And this, okay. Yeah, because because the whole resignation thing could be interesting if it's like the next day or like immediately after. That could also be just tied to Netero's gone, we're gone kind of thing, you know, because that would make sense for the both of them, I think.
It would.
But obviously the fact that it's framed in the same scene as Beyond and Dark Continent stuff also implies that it's related to that, of course. So yeah, it is hazy.
Yeah, for sure. Jing saying this seemingly bothers Pariston, and he begins to explain his need to have others hate him and hurt the things he loves, asking Jing if that is strange. Jing says,
is that so strange?
Yeah, is that so strange?
That page gives me the creeps.
Yeah, I know, it's so interesting. Jing says that it depends on the extent, but he thinks that Pariston has totally lost it, and that is what sets them apart. And this is where it gets really interesting to me, because Jing very clearly sees the two of them as similar. But the defining thing that sets them apart in his mind is just the simple fact that he thinks Pariston's like lost his mind, basically. He's just like a step above. He's just like unhinged, whereas Jing is reserved, at least in his own mind.
So Jing is a self-proclaimed egomaniac, right? From his first dialogue in the series, chapter 66, or I think 67, somewhere around there. From the tape.
True. Very true.
So he definitely, and obviously like Pariston says you and I are similar, and he says that's exactly why I think what I think about you, because we're similar, right? So he does agree that they're similar, but Pariston is like too deep on it. So does that mean Jing kind of views himself as like towing the line, walking the tightrope between madness and not madness, you know? Like is he literally looking at what he could be if he just veers off to the edge a bit too much in Pariston. And that sets up an interesting dynamic for them, because Jing's whole thing is kind of like there's a lot of Zen Buddhism to Jing's character. There's a lot of kind of like a tranquility and I'll take things as they come and live day by day sort of thing to Jing's character, which implies he's got a lot of like internal balance and control over himself. So he's willingly, like Pariston, he's willingly walking on this tightrope that could turn him into Pariston, but he has the self-control and power to not go off too far, which it speaks a lot about him, and just like it's interesting. It's like a bit of a feat, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's just so interesting. Like I've always, my personal interpretation of Jing's interest in Pariston is just that like he sees Pariston as what he could potentially be. That's what makes him so fascinating to him. Like he wants to, it's basically like, let me just check out what like this alternate reality version of myself can do.
Yeah, basically, yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
So, Ging is then approached by Usamen, a member of the expedition team. He's trying to act tough towards him. Ging then appears to cave his face in, but it turns out that didn't even actually happen. It was like a
premonition.
Yeah, basically. We don't entirely know what it was exactly, but regardless, Usamen backs off. He wants none of that. Ging wonders who's in charge around here, and Pariston happily admits that he is second in command.
That scene is so weird, the way that's composed. It looks like he's talking to the marionette when he says that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, are you the one who calls the shots here? He looks.
I remember thinking that when I read that volume for the first time, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's intentional. Like, I think it's implying that might be Pariston's ability. Obviously, we have a name for that marionette.
Yeah,
they seem to just be part of Beyond's group.
They have a name. I can
weird.
dig that up, so I have that in my charts, wherever those are. I don't even know where I put those anymore. I gotta find them soon. We'll need them. But,
you might need to gather those.
They're in here somewhere. I'll find them. But yeah, it's just that particular character is always so interesting to me because Ging really is fixated on them. Like he even says, there's a line where he says they must be like the strongest one here or something like that. Oh, I found my chart. Hold on. I think I have it written down in this chart. Marion, and yeah, Ging presumes Marion to be the strongest in the team, in the whole expedition team.
Yeah, that's
weird.
That's so weird because you think that's Pariston, right? So it just ties that to Pariston. So yeah, I am kind of sold on that marionette being like a part of Pariston in some way, or at least a tool of Pariston's, something like that. Yeah.
But then it's also like, there's also the scene later when he's talking about how, if he wants to, actually I think this is in like 3 seconds, so let me just get to it. Hold on.
Okay, yeah.
So it's right here, in fact. Ging says that if Pariston was just some musclehead, he would just defeat him in a fight, but he knows that he needs to break his spirit instead, which implies that he views Pariston as weak. Like, he's not a problem. He could beat him easily. So if he is seeing Marion as some kind of extension of Pariston, I don't think he would say that.
That is a good point. I mean, I think there are counter arguments to that at the same time. Like, you could say that's just Jing's personality. Like, and especially when it comes to Pariston, he just calls him a scumbag. He speaks down on him, but like he'll tell him, "I'd beat the hell out of you," but maybe he would be a tough fight, and he knows he's a tough fight. Because I don't know. I feel like the way their dynamic is, like Ging just talks smack the whole time. Like, he's constantly insulting him. So it doesn't seem too out of the ordinary if he's like respectful of Pariston's power and does see him as someone strong, but would still speak to him in that way.
Well, the thing is, that's a thought. That's internal, is when he says that. He's not saying that to Pariston.
When he says that about Marion?
well, when he says that last line about how if he was just a musclehead, he'd just defeat him, but he knows he needs to break his spirit instead. That's a thought.
Does he
So
say
he's
that as
not-
a thought?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
I
Okay,
I could.
I'm not.
I'd have to grab my volume.
I'm pretty sure he says
but-
that out loud.
Does he? Okay.
I'm pretty sure he says it out loud. Yeah, because right after that is when he's like, when he claims, I'm the boss now.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm number 2 now.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure he like, because him saying I'm number 2 is tied to him breaking his spirit. If I'm not mistaken.
I'm pulling up
Let me
Shonen
pull
Jump
up
to
the page,
confirm this
actually.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was gonna do that,
Right.
but I don't know what chapter it is off the top of my head.
It should be 343 or 344. No, 343. Wait. Yeah, I'm on the chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a thought. He says it out loud.
Okay, he says that out loud.
I'll send the
Okay.
page
Never mind.
into- Yeah, okay.
I was misremembering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he says
That's
it out loud.
that's important to know.
I just
then.
sent it in the chat. Yeah, he says it out loud.
Oh yeah, he sure does.
You'd be laughing inside even as I made you cough up blood and stepped on your head. I'd have to break your spirit instead.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's just talking shit. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so that's. Yeah, never mind. Okay, Marion theory is still on the table.
Yeah.
Because he could
Interesting.
seriously just be talking shit, and that's about it. Anyways,
Yeah.
he then declares that he is now the new second in command and asks if any of them have a problem with it. He assures them that he doesn't plan to make any changes to the team's plans or give orders. He only wants the nominal authority of second in command. He then states that he will double the money beyond has promised them and pay up front. He demonstrates this immediately by paying one of the members right then and there. That member then leaves and goes to pay off his sister's hospital bill.
I love that scene so much. That's so funny to me.
Yeah, he does come back though.
Bro, Jig,
The way it's
How
presented
does he
though,
have
he
this
just
much
like
money, man?
sayonara.
Yeah.
he's so rich.
He has
Like,
way too
Yeah.
like
much
the
money.
way it's framed in the scene, Jing has got money.
Oh,
It's,
yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just
Like,
like no
where did this
sweat.
come
Like
from?
that's life-changing money he gave to that guy, but he's just like, oh, whatever, all right. And he's gonna give that to everybody here, by the way. That's
Yeah,
insane.
ridiculous. Up front too, like
Yep,
yeah,
just
he could
right there.
Run off and
Yep.
yeah, it's crazy.
He then debriefs the team on what he knows of the Dark Continent, including the 5 threats and a book called Journey to the New World, written by Ging Freecss.
Mm-hmm.
2 books,
Yeah.
to be more precise. One of which
Yeah,
he is unsure if it exists or
He's
not,
still right.
but it more than likely does.
yeah. Well, yeah, 300 years ago. So probably not his dad. Yeah. So yeah, it could be that.
Yeah, probably not. Well, hey, you never know.
Yeah.
It could be some weird ass birth, late birth.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, true. That is true. Yeah.
Never know. At some point later on, Ging receives a phone call from Gon where he tells him that he can't use Nen anymore. Ging tells him that this is probably because he fought with the intention of throwing everything away.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure does, yeah. He tells Gon that he would be ungrateful to want more and that it will be a good opportunity for him to discover what he can do as he is now. Very interesting.
Yeah, it ties into what we were saying earlier, right? So, like, it once again kind of goes against what I was saying. So, what I was saying earlier was that the period of Gon's life where Ging was the focus and he like set up and like made himself the goal or whatever has come to a close. But he's also the one to start this next path of Gon finding himself. He's the one that tells him, figure out what you can do as you are now, right? Fucking Ging. So yeah, it's tough, man. This is a difficult character to try and get a
And
comprehensive
it's that wording that's
understanding of.
always stood out to me. It's like, it almost feels like he knows what he can do as he is now. But he wants to
Yeah,
he wants
I get
Gon
what
to
you mean.
figure
It's
it out
like,
for himself.
He tells him, be happy about it. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Tough.
it's
yeah.
hey, I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. Who knows? Anything could be true with him.
Nah,
really.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah. 1 month later, after a plan to hinder the Hunter exam fails, thanks to Kurapika, one of the assassins named Muhair reports back about the concerns with Kurapika's Nen ability and how all of their plans could be at risk. Muhair questions Jing's motives to join their team, suspecting that he might double-cross them. All of this information doesn't matter, by the way, because it's all staged anyways, but whatever, it still happens. Jing replies that he is closer to Beyond because he wants to be... he's closer to Beyond because he wants to be free to do whatever he wants at the destination. So once they get there, he's on his own.
Yeah.
Furthermore, Jing reveals that he intends to prevent Periston from completing his destructive plans while supporting Beyond. Muhair refuses to accept this, and he and his henchmen all draw their weapons at him. Which again, it's all staged, so whatever, but it happens. Ging escapes with Periston into an underground passageway where he analyzes their abilities and uses a version of Leorio's Nen ability to knock some of them out. This prompts Periston to wonder if his Nen ability is to copy other abilities, but Ging says that this is just a talent of his.
Crazy ass talent you have there.
Yeah, he can just kind of do that.
Yeah.
After Ging defeats the remaining henchmen, he tells Periston that he was aware it was all staged by him to discover Jing's abilities, suggesting that Periston fight him himself if he wants to figure out what his abilities are. The two then head upstairs, and Ging tells Muhair that his troops aren't strong enough to face the Dark Continent. Muhair replies that they are here to cover for them, and then introduces Golem, who conjures all of the weapons that were just being used. He's a conjurer who just makes weapons. And I think there's another person that makes the bullets, if I remember right. It's been a minute.
I think so, yeah.
He states that he and his men belong to the Stonewall Mercenaries, an 11-man force who fought in the Lubo Civil War without a casualty, which I guess means something. I don't know what, but it sounds
Is that
impressive.
a big deal? Yeah, it sounds like it.
But yeah, we'll see more of them at some point. I can't wait. In 4,000 years. It'll be awesome. Muhair and his men then acknowledge him as the second in command, but not before making it clear that despite this, it will be Muhair that will give the orders to everyone on the battlefield, and that his orders are absolute. Interesting. Periston then walks in and announces that he can now donate his money to all of Beyond's men, claiming that Ging is now officially the second in command. Ging reminds him that it's in name only and tells him that he can lead just as he has been. However, Periston happily refuses and says that he wants to see what Ging can do, with Ging replying that he won't hesitate. And that is the last we have seen of Ging.
So, something that's been bugging me this entire time. Why does Ging only want the title in name? What is the purpose of that's serving for him? I've been questioning that ever since I read that.
They probably an ulterior motive, but I think an easy answer is that he's just trying to rattle Periston.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
He's just trying to kind of, I think it's kind of, hunters are egomaniacs. He's just trying to power trip him a bit. He's I just took number 2 from you. It's nothing. You can do all the work, but I'm number 2.
Yeah, it's just the title thing. It's just Ging being petty. And it also comes back to that thing of Ging views Periston as a man who thinks similarly to him, so he knows how to push his buttons really well.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. He's pushing his own buttons. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I did want to mention that was in chapter 345 right at the end is just a bit of a tangential connection to Ging, is when Beyond, I just sent the pages in the chat, is when Beyond is talking about the four things needed for this expedition, and it's the exact same words that Ging says to Gon on the World Tree. He's gained permission, only 3 things remain: qualifications, the means, and a contract. So when he says a contract, we see Ging, which is interesting because when he says the means, we see Saraidnik. And obviously a very popular theory at the moment is that Saraidnik is Beyond's son. So if the means is Saraidnik, that's his means to get to the Dark Continent somehow, and the contract is Ging, then what does that mean? What is there between Ging and Beyond? Is there an end contract in place between them? Is there something tying them together for them to be so aligned? Why does he want to be number 2? It's there's a lot of potential for something crazy there.
There's a lot there. That's not a panel I've looked into much, but wow, that's a big one actually. I was always kind of back and forth on Serenich being the son, but that's a heavy blow, honestly, to that theory in a good way.
Oh yeah, the means, yeah, showing Serenich as the means is crazy. Yeah,
that's huge.
That's kind of crazy. Wow, I didn't even remember this panel, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a nothing. Like it's pretty forgettable, all things considered. But yeah, I mean that's pretty huge.
The only reason it stuck out to me is because it's like bar for bar the same thing Jing says to Gon on the World Tree, right?
Ties back in ulterior motives.
That's interesting. Yeah, yes, sir.
What a strange man.
That's I think
that's
the biggest
also
takeaway.
But I mean, that's more theory food for you, because if Beyond is saying the same words as Jing about like the means being his son, then what's Jing got planned for Gon? Like, you might be onto something.
You know, part of me doesn't want to believe it because I honestly I kind of hate theories like that. It makes me think of like those shit ass One Piece theories I hate so much, where like Shanks is secretly evil and orchestrated the whole journey. Nah, fuck that shit. There's no chance in hell. I would drop the series if that happened. But it's still like I don't know. There's a lot more intrigue to this to me compared to Shanks.
Yeah. It's definitely something more believable for sure.
Definitely more in line with his character presentation.
I could see it happening, whereas that would just be a total 180 for Shanks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Jing, and I think, as Dylan said, he is a strange man. That is the biggest takeaway you can get out of this whole episode. He is so fascinating and bizarre. Like you cannot possibly predict what he's going to do at any given moment. And that's what makes him so fascinating.
Yeah.
There's probably tons of characters you could say that same thing about within this series even, but there's just something unique about him that he just has that layer of mystery and intrigue even after he's introduced, because obviously through the entire series he has that intentionally, but then even when he's a character in the story, a force in the story, it almost feels amplified, to be honest. Like there's even more mystery.
Like I'd compare him. Yeah, since you just mentioned One Piece, I'd compare him to Roger. But the difference is that once Roger becomes like an active presence in the story, he gets very humanized and we can understand him and we know how he thinks. He's no longer like this big myth and he's just a regular dude, and that's the point. The same thing happens with Jing. He's mythologized over the course of 330-ish chapters, and then, we meet him and it's just like, okay, he's just a dude. But he's a dude you can't understand. He's like, he is just a dude, and he has been lowered in a lot of ways. Like, he used to be, like, prior, like, I imagine, like, I hate to make it about power scaling, but it's a battle shonen, but prior to his introduction, and, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have been like, oh, he's probably the strongest in the verse, he's, like, the most epic, coolest guy ever, yada, yada, just because of the aura he exudes, right? Just because of the kind of way he's been presented. But once he's introduced, like, I don't think you ever see anybody saying, oh, Jin's probably stronger than Netero. You won't see that often. You might see it here and there, but it's not an often thing you'll hear, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of just ties into how he's been lowered by his like, his position in the story has been lessened in some ways, but he's still, he's even more complex and convoluted and confusing now.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the more you learn about him, the less you learn about him, it feels.
Yeah.
There's just constantly things. There's just layers being peeled back. Well, honestly, we haven't even really begun to peel back any layers, it feels like. But
we're going to need, like, I think an entire flashback or something for Jing specifically to get that deep.
I hope. I
don't think Togashi's much of a backstory guy unless it's something like... Yeah. So I don't expect one for Jing, but I do think because we basically had very minimal monologue from him, like actual internal thoughts. We barely had any over the course of his screen time. Yeah. So I think my prediction for a while, and this could be wrong, but my prediction for a while is that Jing will be the protagonist of the Dark Continent arc in the same vein as Kurapika in Succession Wars. So he'll be sharing that with a lot of other people. There'll be a lot of POVs, but he'll be the dominant one. Like, his story will be the A-plot of the Dark Continent arc, right? And if we do get that, that's where I think he'll be seriously humanized, and we'll be able to understand him and have more like a comprehensive overview of how he thinks and his personality and yada yada.
Yeah, that's something we've talked about a lot. Dylan and I tend to lean more towards Team Leorio as protag for Dark Continent, but I think Ging, regardless, will have a huge role, if not even just like a Deuterag in a situation with Leorio. Because
that's interesting. Yeah.
Much of his story will be obviously coming to a head in the Dark Continent. This is like everything he's wanted, seemingly. So it will have to, in some ways, be about him. But you never know with Togashi. It's just, again, this series is written entirely on the whims of the author. He just does what he wants.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, so when you mentioned them resigning, have you guys noticed anything cool? Do you think there's anything there with their replacements being Leorio and Kurapika? Like Leorio and Ging maybe having parallels or connections, or maybe Kurapika Pariston. I haven't really discovered any of my own, but I do think it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, it is something I've thought about a lot. And, I can't really get anywhere beyond surface level thoughts. Just that, like, well, honestly, with Pariston, I got nothing. With Kurapika, there's not a whole lot I can draw to. Maybe like
I could see
the selfishness.
Well, the rats, right? I think
the rat
selfishness nature for sure, and I just think will always prioritize their own agenda over anything else.
Yeah, there's that for sure.
Like, yeah. And obviously, just being a rat also just implies that rats in fiction are generally like snake figures who just work against the group. So I could see Kurapika having a big fallout with the Zodiacs. Similar to Pariston. I mean, Pariston was always hated very openly. Kurapika is very different in that sense. He's only really helped them so far. He's been a massive help to them.
Huge.
He's like
he's done any of this.
He's literally
him.
the most impressive Zodiac.
Yeah.
He's literally the most impressive Zodiac. It's crazy.
Absolutely, bar none.
Yeah,
and obviously with Leorio, he's just very. Boar suits him very well. He's just a very brash, direct person, which Ging also is.
Yeah. And I think it's very intentional at the same time, too, considering how early they've interacted with one another, too, compared to, where we are now in the series. I feel like it's kind of like intentional setup for that kind of combination of characters. That's how it reads to me.
Okay,
yeah, for sure.
Makes sense.
All right, does anybody have any closing thoughts before we move into community comments?
You go first.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I think it's really hard to put into words, but I think Ging is one of Togashi's greatest feats of character writing because of how much is done indirectly. He's just an absolute master of subtext with Ging. We don't really understand him comprehensively as a person, but characters are more than just the personality side of things. It's his influence over the story and how, like I mentioned earlier, he's a major part of every single arc, even when he's not present on screen at all. He's just everywhere. He's in the title of the story. He's one of the most important characters without a doubt, and you feel that everywhere. You really feel that everywhere, and you can. Gon's my favorite character, so I think naturally you kind of have to hold Ging to a high pedestal. Maybe not in terms of liking him individually as a person, but just for what he does for the story. It's just massive. He's just everywhere, and I love that about him.
Yeah. Similarly, I think that Ging is just written as such a fascinating design of a character as a whole. Togashi really knocked it out of the park with just presenting this character throughout the entire series, like you said. Presented as kind of mythological figure that kind of subverts our expectations the moment he touches the pages, right? With his presence. Yeah. And it's just it makes for such an interesting engagement with the character, I think. And it's a very unique kind of approach to take compared to any other manga, I think. Especially for like someone
He's
who's like it's like a semi-mentor figure, but like also really not at the same time. I don't know. It's just such a unique character, but very strange, and we don't know much about him even 400 chapters into the series, which is just so crazy to me. So I have a lot of respect for Jing's character, just like or characterization, I guess, as a whole. But it's just weird because, like you said, like there's not a lot of like actual we talk about this character a lot in theory and speculation, because there really isn't a whole lot of concrete info we know about him, and I think that's what attracts me to that character the most. It's just such a unique thing to engage with.
Yeah, for one of the most important characters in the story to be such an enigma is a very cool balance. It's hard to get that right, like, because obviously I do want to know more about him and I do have unanswered questions, but he would still be one of my favorite characters in the story if we never had another chapter.
Absolutely.
Personally, just because of what Togashi has managed to accomplish with his presence and everything. So yeah, he's great. He's kind of like one thing I really like about him as well. Well, we already touched upon this a lot of times with that whole anticlimax, but he's like turning an expectations versus reality meme into a character. Like it's built up over the whole story and it's so ballsy. It's so bold. I tried to say bold and ballsy at the same time. But yeah, it's both of those things. Yeah, yeah, it's both of those things. Yeah. So yeah, you gotta give it to Togashi.
Yep, and that's what I was trying to get home earlier too. Is just the fact that I respect the hell out of Togashi's approach with this character. It is so bold, as you said, ballsy, as you said, that you just can't help but respect it. Like it shouldn't work as well as it does, honestly. This is such a hard thing to pull off. Like, it's almost similar to, like, if you get to the One Piece and it's just, like, a pile of shit or something. Like, it's something you can't possibly imagine whenever you set off on this journey being the case. But it is the case, and it's awesome. It works so well. It only drives the narrative in a better direction, which is unbelievable. Absolutely. It's so impressive. And yeah, I love Jing's entire presence in the story. I think he is handled to perfection anytime he is ever used. I have pretty much nothing but positive things to say about his character. Now, I mean, him as a father, I can talk about a lot in a negative way. But I like his role in the story. And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
For sure.
All right, I think with that, we're ready to see what you guys had to say about him.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments, so let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, now it's time to see what you guys have to say about our favorite bum-ass dad, Ging Freecss. Usual reminder, if you want to get in on the fun discussing any given topic week to week, make sure you keep an eye out for the YouTube community posts, as well as our call-out posts on Twitter and Bluesky. And of course, if you want to email us your thoughts, you can always do so at hunterassociationpod@gmail.com. So, starting off with a comment from Planetary Pluto, saying, surprisingly down to earth, I love how we see how it is he draws people towards him by winning over Parison/Beyond's crew. After he paid that one guy with the hospitalized sister, who then left to buy the whole hospital and come back anyway, Ging basically vowed to keep him alive because he took a personal liking to him. That isn't like a little detail that we didn't really touch on there, but it shows a lot of compassion from Ging there as well, I think. I guess like to Ging rather, because it was like from the guy, right? But yeah, just very charismatic person in general. Very likable by some people, surprisingly. I like I like how both his Nen ability and Nen type are unknown, but based off the little we know about him, such as the fact that he taught Kite Nen and Kite's abilities involve slots, a kind of game and apparently a talking clown that annoys him. Ging also made Green Island with his friends, admits he gets bored easily, compared to Netero and Parison anyway, and the other Zodiacs claim his problem is he only cares about having fun / enjoying things. I would guess his Nen ability involves some kind of RNG as well, like Kite's, or at the very least game related. That's an interesting theory.
Yeah. I could definitely see that being the case. It's hard to really speculate any details about it, but being some sort of game is certainly a possibility.
Even the one clue we could have gotten with like the copying Leora's ability, it's just immediately written off. He's like, nope, that's just a trait of mine, not an ability.
He's just
sorry.
built different.
Very intentional bait by Togashi there. I feel like
yeah.
I was so mad reading that the first time.
You guys want to know it so badly, you're not gonna get it. Yeah.
Nope.
Yep. Yeah, baiting us and Pariston.
Exactly. Also, his understanding and control of his Nen is hands down the best I've seen. The pip play he does with the different shapes, sizes, moving them in different directions at different speeds, showing his insane control. He says it's nothing special, it's just a neat trick, which I believe, but it's still impressive. Honestly, I think the only character that might rival him in potential is the fourth prince, and that's a maybe. I mean, yeah.
I love how hesitant people are always to say Serena's name. They're scared they're gonna like spell it wrong or something.
It's easy to get wrong for sure.
Yeah.
I've just defaulted to Seri. I'm not bothering.
Yeah, I get that.
But a good comment nonetheless. And yeah, Ging is just it's weird. Like there's like the potential man meme, right, which is always like used in jest, but like Ging is like the opposite of that. It's like potential man, but like positive. Like there's so much that this character can do that would all be believable. We just don't know any of it.
Yeah, that's very true. All right, next up is from Severa LF, who says, you all will probably touch on this, but just in case, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the change from the manga to anime. We were just talking about this, where in the manga, Mito straight up says Ging wanted to take Gon with him, but she made him give Gon up. Whereas in the anime, it makes Ging look way worse, which is probably why him being an awful dad became a meme. There's a few other reasons. But,
just a few, I think.
That's definitely up there. I mean, I think changing it is odd. I think what 99 changed is way worse and more peculiar, but I think 2011's approach is ultimately harmless, but still important enough to make me raise an eyebrow. You know, I think it shouldn't have been changed. I don't see why it was.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think the annoying thing with the 2011 changes is that it's just kind of like pointless and just makes the long running thread of his hunter license and stuff just makes it just so weird. Like you don't find it as cool. I think it's like it's a really cool thing that he has Jing's license throughout the journey. It's not like a huge game changing detail, but it's just like a cool thing that just gets flushed down the drain in the anime, unfortunately. Well, he gets it from Kai, but it's just like such a later. Convoluted scene. It's way later, and it's also sucks. Like kind of pointless. It's like why would he give it? I mean, you can argue reasons why. It just feels a bit unnatural, you know.
Yeah, I truly hate that episode in 2011 where, you know, I guess it's the episode after Kite is introduced. It drives me insane every time I watch it. But, you know, the rest of the show's good.
Yeah. Oh, it's my turn to read. Sorry.
Yeah, you're up. Yeah. Sorry. You're up.
Yeah. Edo Carver 6723, a comment from them. I really enjoyed how his meeting with Gon wasn't portrayed as some epic event. It really made him feel more human and not just some glorified ideal of what a hunter should be. Absolutely. Yep. We were talking about that a lot. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't like him because of how he treated his son, but in my opinion, he's one of the best characters in the show precisely because of his flaws. Valid take. If I could get a single spoiler directly from Togashi, I would probably ask to explain his Nen ability. One thing out of the whole story, Jing's Nen ability, that's aura from Ging there. I got to say. Yeah. I'd asked for a billion things before that. But
me too.
I respect it.
That is actually wild. That's the one thing. Damn.
What? Man, how would you feel if it was like the most anticlimactic Nen ability of all time?
Yeah, he just like punches really hard.
Yeah, he's a super enhancer. That's it.
Yeah, new Nen type, a super enhancer. That'd be great.
Either way, yeah, it just goes to show how mysterious and intriguing that is as a part of Jing's character.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how hyped up he is as a hunter in general, right? So.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, it would probably help us understand him more because of just how informative Nen abilities are for characters.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe that's why Togashi is saving it, because telling us his Nen ability will just like crack the Jing code, and it will like spell him out for us in a way where we can understand his intentions and stuff, you know?
Definitely something
Totally
that
possible.
Like, has to be revealed at like the right time, I think.
Yeah.
That'll be a pivotal reveal, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a big moment. This is a random thought, but I was just thinking, like, I wonder if people speculated, like, before Chimera Ant, if people speculated a lot about what Netero's Nen ability was. I wonder if anybody
sure
even
they
really,
did.
like, cared to think about it. Probably, but...
There has
I
to
mean,
be, like,
from
old
the
records
no,
out
I'd
there or
say
something.
from the, because it's an 8-year long arc. From the start of the arc until Netero vs. Meruem, definitely, I think.
Well, yeah, but
Chimera
that's like
Ant-
that's him as an active role in the story, so that makes sense. But before
yeah,
that,
exactly.
wonder.
Before Chimera Ant, I don't think people really think of Netero that much, because like
Yeah.
he's chairman, but he's like, you could easily just interpret the chairman to be a character we're never gonna see. You know, the fact that he
It's like a
shows up in Chimera
spokesperson,
Ant,
basically.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly, yeah. Him showing up in Chimera Ant is it's kind of crazy. We're just desensitized to it because it's like, you know, we've
You're right,
read
yeah.
and watched the arc so many times, you know. But like that's the chairman, that's the top dog of all hunters, part of this arc with our two main characters who are young boys. So definitely,
yeah.
definitely, I think during that arc, people were wondering.
Oh,
and
100%.
it must have been
There was a lot of
great
teasing
reveal.
about it too during that arc, so I mean, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, much to think about there. Thank you for Edokava for the comment, though.
Yes.
Next up, it is from Strep to Beep. There's not that much to say about Jing since he has not appeared much in the anime or manga. I am just curious to hear what your guest Radman thinks about your guys' theory that Jing birthed Gon with a princess. Yeah, our theory.
Our theory, yeah. We love it.
It is a
what's
bit of a silly theory,
You guys
but
hate
maybe
the
your
theory,
guest
no?
will agree with you.
We despise
Don't
it.
you guys hate it? Okay.
Yeah,
This is a
being-
bit.
yeah.
This is
They're
a bit
being
comment.
cheeky. This is a long timer.
Okay.
Yeah, we
okay.
love this theory. Yeah,
I'm thinking
Radman,
of
what are your
that.
thoughts on our theory?
I am not pro the theory, but when it comes to Hunter x Hunter theories, anything goes for me. So like,
You're
it's
right.
cool.
Hey, I'll give it up.
That's respectable. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this bit comes up every once in a while in our episodes, and it gets me every time.
I am
you guys
99%
bagged
sure
us
it came up on an episode I was on before. I'm pretty sure.
Well, we
it
did talk
has,
about
'cause
going with you last time, so
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely came
Yeah,
up then.
yeah, probably came up, yeah.
Thank you for the comment, though. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Strep to Beep. Next is from Invalid B.
I think it's
Invalid
beg
beg
activity.
Beg activity. Okay. It says, can't wait for the manga to reveal why and how he's apparently so powerful. My bet is that he's imposed a very high tier restriction on himself. He'll be one of the most powerful Nen users as long as he remains a deadbeat father. Hey, maybe that's why he's so averse to seeing Gon.
Yo.
Okay,
you're
this
cooking.
is written as like a meme, but like you're kind of cooking in that there's probably some kind of restriction on himself, surely, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It wouldn't surprise me for sure. I mean, a lot of top tiers probably dabble in restrictions. It's kind of crazy that such a huge mechanic of the series we've only ever seen from Gon and Kurapika. So
Yeah,
the
I
more we
know.
learn about other people, there's probably some stuff there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Krollo has something for the Phantom Troop, or it's just there's probably a lot of characters we've spent a lot of time with who have these Nen restrictions that we just haven't learned about yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, very,
it's
very
a
like
very
core.
interesting mechanic.
Yeah, it's very core to Nen as a concept, but really underexplored at the same time. It feels like.
Yeah.
So.
At least on page, I mean, again, as Radman just said, I'm sure a lot of characters we've seen have restrictions. We just don't have a reason to know about them.
Right, and then like
Yeah, 'cause
also
you keep that
restrictions
close
like
to your
scale,
heart, right?
obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the two characters we got it from are the only two protagonists in the story, like main
Right.
protagonists.
Yep.
So yeah, like it makes sense we'd know about it from them because we know everything about them, whereas other characters you don't want anybody to know about that, so it wouldn't come up naturally in a scene. So it does make sense for sure.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
It is my turn. Okay. Leo Dog, really cool Avi. I like the profile picture. Ging is very
That's our
interesting. On one hand, he thinks about his son enough to plan things like Greed Island and that box that gave them the save file. But on the other hand, he doesn't want to meet him. I wonder if Jing's dad did something similar to him as a child, and he thinks that worked out pretty well for him, so he does the same to Gon. Very possible, in my opinion. Yeah. Also, when he shows off his Nen mastery by moving the balls of aura on his fingers, that really impressed me. The idea of chasing after a person is a really cool premise for a series, and so far Ging has lived up to that role. I also really love the line he has on top of the world tree about the detours being just as meaningful or more than the destination. I love it too. Yep. He is super interesting and contradictory and just like really just interesting. Yeah. I'm not sure if he doesn't want to meet him though, but that's a whole hour conversation. I don't know if he doesn't want to meet Gon, but he's just so strange. I think he wants it to be under these like fantasy like conditions and like these.
Right.
He's
can
an
get
idealist,
behind
right?
That. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I don't think he doesn't want to meet him. It's just like he's super weird about it. Like it has to be the right way. We got to meet the right way, and that doesn't happen, and he's robbed of that.
True. Yeah, I go back and forth on it a lot, but I mean, I'm sure most people do in regards to Ging. He's just such a he's weird. That's what we keep saying. He's just so weird.
Yep.
He's weird.
And I also want to touch on, because people keep bringing it up, I forgot to mention the part about where he does the balls of aura thing. That's sometime in the early Succession War chapters, but it is neat how he can do something that's so impressive visually, and he's just like, I mean, that's nothing. It says a lot about what he is as a Nen user.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you for the comment, Leo Dog. Appreciate seeing you here. Next up is from Nasty Moisture. I don't know how I feel about that username.
That's an interesting one.
I'm not a Hunter x Hunter veteran like most of the people here. I recently watched a 2011 anime, and now I'm fiending to read the manga. Oh, okay.
Get on it.
Yeah. Okay. I think Ging is an interesting character. So this is all from the perspective of someone who hasn't read his manga.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, that's valuable.
I think Ging is an interesting character. The way he did Gon is so dirty. All of Gon's bad attributes, I see it stem from their relationship or the lack thereof. Not to make this about Gon, but the scene where he grows up in an instant, I couldn't help but think it was a symbolic way of showing how he's had to grow up too quick. Gon had to grow up quickly because not only did his dad leave, but he also indirectly made him follow Ging into an extremely dangerous world. That's an interesting interpretation of that scene. I think it's super cool. Yeah. I want to read the rest of this before I comment further on that, though. I think it's super cool how Ging is clearly meant to be a good guy and also the best at what he does. But the fact that he is the best at one thing comes at a price so big that he ruins multiple people's lives indirectly. And when he is confronted with the kid that almost died because of his way of raising him, he almost can't look his own kid in the eye despite looking untold horrors right in the eye and defeating them. This is to me a subtle way of telling us that relationships are some of the hardest things to do right. Even Ging tells us that his relationships through his adventures are the most important thing to him. Straight to Gon's face, to the face of the person who should have been his most important relationship. That turned into a rant. Thanks for the great content, guys. Wow, okay. That was an interesting comment to read.
Yeah.
Really interesting, yeah.
Yeah, that's and then you got all that from just the anime stuff, and I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, there's not like a whole lot you get beyond that, but it's still enough to add some layers to what you're saying. I really like this comment. I can't. It's hard for me to formulate an opinion on it right on the spot, but I really like what you're putting down here.
Yeah, this is such a different perspective than I'm used to. Yeah. I think there is definitely something to say about how symbolic like a lot of these like scenes were in comparison to like their relationship and what you can read out of that from like the direction of the series in general, right? But yeah, I haven't really seen something quite like this written out in front of me before, so it's taken a little bit longer for me to like process my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what makes this one so different, but yeah, I'm kind of like stun locked by it. Great comment though.
Yeah, no, fantastic comment. I think. Thank you. I'll be thinking about this a little bit more, I think.
All right, next up is from Cakes Here, who says, Jing's best traits are also his worst. He knows exactly what he likes and wants. He knew he wasn't a good father, so he never tried to be one. Well, he would have tried. He knew that finding ancient secrets and making games was more productive than waiting for someone to grow up. He is, after all, the living embodiment of the stubborn boar.
Well.
Indeed. Yeah, I agree. But again, he did want to try to be some kind of father, but he just wasn't allowed to be because of Mito.
Well, this might have been, we don't know if Cakes here read the manga.
I know.
So
But
that could just be a
Well,
problem
at
with
the same
anime.
time though, we do say he's Mr. Ulterior Motive, right? He
knows.
knows people so well. He probably knew what Mito would say bringing Gon back home. Like,
yeah,
totally.
I didn't even get that granular with it, but you're right. You're very right.
yeah, like if we're being for real, like he knew exactly how the election was gonna go down. He definitely can read Mito.
Yeah, I mean that's like his childhood friend too. Oh, 100%. Yeah, you're right. You're spitting.
Yeah, so,
Totally right.
So yeah. But yeah, thank you, Cakes. Comment from Magitech: the man, the myth, the deadbeat. I love how everyone that watches Hunter x Hunter at first theorized what motive would Ging have to leave, thinking of a major reason when the show, the characters, and Ging himself never even entertained the idea of him not being a selfish asshole. Chairman candidate, legendary archaeologist, indie game developer, with all that and being one of the greatest Nen masters of the world, it's easy to understand him not taking things seriously. But also, he doesn't take himself too seriously. He's not above being punished in public or being mocked and belittled by others. One of my favorite things about him. And even though he can come off as manipulative because of this, he's surprisingly honest. My favorite moment with him is ironically the first one we get, the tape. I've seen a lot of people look at this like he's arrogant, like meeting him is a right to achieve. But even before we actually got to meet him, I always looked at this as him giving Gon a choice. One of the first things he tells him is that if he's not interested in him, to just stop the tape, and that's that. He never tried to impose his life or path onto him, and even then he told him, I don't want to see you. It wasn't until it was clear he had made up his mind that he issued the challenge. He was built with such mystique and presence. He's a ghost, an alien, a creature of myth, and yet when we finally see him, he's as everyone described him. A vagabond. Shout out Peak Fiction. He's just there sitting next to the Zodiacs. The shot is not even meant to highlight him in any way. He's just one of the bunch. And that's probably the best way to describe Ging. Someone exceptionally unexceptional. Someone with amazing talents, knowledge, and the GDP of a small country, yet he will hyperfixate about the game he made and talk about it non-stop. Someone that has a seat with some of the most powerful individuals in the world and will take that seat with dirty clothes. That's Ging. What an amazing comment. Thank you for that. I love it.
Good job, Magitech. Love
that. That was awesome. Yeah, I mean, I basically agree with absolutely everything you said there. I do think that the tape is a bit more nuanced. Like, I think there's room to say, sure, he's giving Gon a choice, but maybe that's just the superficial layer because you're telling a little kid who's obviously going to be curious about you. You haven't seen him his entire life. Do you want to see me? I mean, 99.9% he wants to see you.
Yeah.
He's your son. Anyone would. So there is like a level to it where it's like he presents himself in this way, but maybe it's, the illusion of choice that Kaige said earlier on. That is definitely possible. But I'm still with you overall that I do think for the most part, he is providing Gon with choices. And I think that is an important thing to factor in, even if it's difficult to really verify how authentic that is from him,
Yeah,
but yeah,
absolutely.
Amazing comment.
Yeah, really, really good comment. Thank you.
Exceptionally unexceptional. Bars.
Bars, yeah.
Bars. The GDP of a small country took me out.
Yeah, that was good. That was good too. Thank you. All right. Next up is from Viral Uno. As one of my top 5 characters in the series, I thought I'd had more to say about him, but it's hard to say much for me considering the small amount of screen time. Yep. His line at the end of the anime is the main reason he is so high up. I watched Hunter x Hunter during a low point in my life, and the ending, carried by his line, really helped me start getting myself back together. After that, what we get in the manga adds a lot that I'm looking forward to. His interactions with Pariston and probably beyond, as well as his ties to Doan, are some of my most anticipated story threads. When thinking about his involvement in Succession War, I have 2 theories. First is that he might provide some sort of refuge from the chaos for innocence when shit hits the fan. Interesting. Okay. Second option is that he is completely uninvolved. He might not even be on the ship. He probably has a way to teleport onto the vessel that is actually taking them to the Dark Continent, and he doesn't feel like waiting months on board the Black Whale while it reaches its destination. We know the Black Whale's destination for the Kakian Royals is the fake Dark Continent, so he has no reason to be on board for this first part of the journey. He seems like the type to show up once the boring stuff is over to get to the exciting stuff. That would be pretty in character,
Yeah.
I would say. So, yeah, I don't really have a ton to say about either of those theories, to be honest, because they're both like equally likely in my mind. Like, either he's on the ship and he maybe does some like, I don't know. The problem is with my line of thinking is if he is on the ship, I actually really don't know how involved he'd get with everything that's happening now.
I don't
like the
think
wedding.
he'd care, right? I
Yeah,
really
that's
don't
what
think
I'm
he'd
saying.
care about the Succession War, but at the same time, the one thing that makes me like second guess that is Beyond's involvement in the Succession War. Because now we know
Right.
Beyond is an active player and he's got big plans for it and he's manipulating things. And I just think there's a lot more to Ging and Beyond's relationship that we don't know about just
Yes.
yet. Like, so
Yeah.
that's what makes me second guess. Just Beyond. If Beyond wasn't an active part of it, then I'd expect Ging to just be sleeping on a lower deck somewhere and just waiting to arrive.
Right.
Like, no care in the world. But Beyond makes me
Yeah.
second guess, and only him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
my
agree.
thought too, because like I could easily see him doing something of note, like in service of Beyond, right? Like for the purpose of whatever he's planning to do with his expedition team, right? Or Pariston by relation. So who's to say? But either way, interesting theories nonetheless. In terms of him being a deadbeat, I really prefer the manga's events, and I'm of the opinion that his choice, while not the best for anyone involved, was the safest for Gon. I used to not wonder about Gon's mother, but now after reading Level E alongside y'all, I really would love to see the type of character Togashi would create. I really like the princess that Prince Baka married. I kinda imagine Jing's relationship with Gon's mom was kinda like that.
Yeah, that's a really great equation.
I never thought about that, but that's,
Yeah, I certainly
I need-
haven't.
that's amusing.
I need to read Level E.
Level E's a lot of fun.
It was surprisingly fun, I thought.
I am a couple volumes into Yu Yu Hakusho at the moment, and Level E is my
Oh,
next
let's
read.
go. How far in Yu Yu Hakusho?
I like only a couple volumes, like 15 or so chapters.
Oh, okay.
Not,
So you're still
not,
like
not much
early-
has happened. Yeah, not much has happened at
Okay,
all. But
okay.
It's been fun. It's so different to Hunter x Hunter, but it's also
It'll
got a
become
lot of
more
similar
similar.
DNA. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
mean, there
starts
already
off as
is.
a
I mean,
wildly
it's
different
Togashi.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's quirks. There's like quirks. You can tell it's the same writer. It's just like he's writing what a lot of the other manga at that time was like, right? It just feels like traditional
Yes.
battle shonen, which I love. I love battle shonen, so I'm not complaining. But it hasn't come into its own yet, which I'm looking forward to happening.
Yeah.
Now, by comparison, Level E is nothing like Hunter x Hunter. It's so
Okay.
weird. But maybe
Yeah.
nothing like
You-
Hunter x Hunter is a bit of a stretch, but it's
You feel
different.
Togashi for sure, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Plot wise, obviously, there's kind of nothing, but
a couple of dud chapters aside too. But that's
the
besides the point.
baseball chapter was ass,
Yeah,
man.
I think about
that all the time.
Yep.
Garbage.
Anyway, this isn't a Level E episode, though. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Thank you, Viral Una, for the comment. Really well said.
Yes. Next up is from Booker Now, who says, Ging is someone who I think embodies the idea of being a hunter. I really like how simple his core motivation is of simply reaching out towards something he doesn't have. Despite his grandeur in the story, he shows that the simple desire to go on a journey towards what you want makes the hunter. He is also a very very genuine kind of person. He is chill but passionate about the things he enjoys. It's why he had a fairly easy time I keep inserting words. What is happening? Of connecting to Beyond's team. In comparison to Periston, he feels much more human. When he told that Beyond team member that he isn't going to die, I'm sure Ging will keep that true despite the potential death flag. Sad backstory, connection to character we care about, and not too relevant. Seems like the perfect character to be cold. Maybe, yeah. Could be like a first victim of some dark continent creature. I guess that'd be sad.
That'd be wild, actually.
Ging is also someone that I think is simply more poised for success in general due to how curious he can be. He has a sort of trial and error mindset where he learns more about the world after each experience. Like someone who discovers fire is hot after touching it. The reason I think that is due to him needing to be hit in order to imitate another person's net ability. I think of it as a sort of experience that Ging then incorporates into his own arsenal, which he then improves upon. Like a scientist, he takes the core concept and finds even more applications for it.
That is very, very cool and interesting. Like I can't help but apply everything from Ging onto Gon, and that's kind of what he put Gon through, right? He threw him in the deep end. Go learn about the world and experience things, and become your own person. That's very cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I do too. I hope that he doesn't turn out to be a character with a huge master plan that has to go exactly like they preordained. But someone who has a general idea of what they want to do while adapting on the fly. It's a lot more impressive to correct an oversight you didn't fully expect than to simply be 100% prepared. Sort of like Hisoka.
I think that already, to be honest. I think he's already... Yeah. I kind of think him and Hisoka are kindred spirits in a weird way. In terms of philosophy, maybe not like behavior and personality, but just in terms of... Because I think Hisoka embodies the detours like more than anybody, really. We haven't seen enough of Ging. Yeah, like Hisoka is detours incarnate. He literally just follows his desires. He's not too focused on the destination. So yeah, he's just trudging through life, and that's kind of what Ging outlines, right, in 339. Of course, Hisoka is like a darker kind of example of it, but it's still the base principle is the same, right? So I already think that is what Ging is like with all these things we spoke about through today's pod, of Ging having all these crazy plans for Gon and maybe orchestrating all these things. Even if he did send Kaite to do that, he didn't tell Kaite to do it. He just sent him and just, kind of left it to luck in some ways, Right. He like, even assuming like he even did that, we don't know for sure. But if he did, it's not something he's fully like step by step planning out and engineering the entire process of events. He's kind of just like, he's like I'll use the George Martin analogy. It's like the gardener's an architect. He's a gardener. He plants seeds and he has a good idea of what they'll grow into, but he just lets them grow by themselves. He might water it a little, but he doesn't know how the tree is going to come out. He knows what type of tree it will be, but he doesn't know exactly what the outcome is going to be. And that's kind of how he carries himself through life, in my opinion.
It's a good analogy.
That's really great, and I completely agree. Even when I say my theories about him orchestrating something, having ulterior motives, I don't even think it's like a thing he knows every step of every detail. It's
it's not
you
like
can't possibly.
You were in the palm of my hand thing, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no. He's definitely not Aizen. I really like that interpretation of the character for sure. I had something else to say, but it just completely exited my mind, so I guess that's gone.
All right. Thank you, Booker, for the comment. And on to
Yes.
the final comment, I'm pretty sure, from Insert Name. It's a long one. Let's get to it.
Classic.
Didn't have much time to think too much on this topic or to filter my initial thoughts, but here goes. Didn't have too
And
much
that's
to
the
think, and you
longest
dropped us. You're a legend. One issue I find in media is having characters with differing and clear motivations. Distinctions like good and evil mean you end up with a significant portion of a cast allied on many issues. Togashi, I think brilliantly worked his way around this by making hunters so singularly focused, and Ging is one of the finer examples. His commitment to his interests and ultimately the Dark Continent are so extensive that they defy normal convention, but at the same time are distinctly anchored in a human desire to explore and challenge the unknown. Shout out page 1 of chapter 1. He comes across as odd, which is the perfect feeling hunters should evoke, as an almost flanderized reflection of humanity. Ging was given a lot of setup and hype, and honestly, to me at least, he's lived up to it on screen. His screen time is eminently enjoyable with a level of wit and eccentricity that warrants his prestige, aloof nature, and personality. I actually agree. We talk a lot about the Ging anticlimax and him, not being the big legend that he was built up to be. But it's important to note that he was built up in that way in the mind of a kid. Right?
Yeah.
A kid is obviously gonna make things bigger deal than they were. He still delivered on, for the readers, for the audience. I still think Ging absolutely delivered on the hype. It's just there was still an intentional, he's not as cool as Gon thought he was kind of thing there, you know? But yeah, I've almost certainly brought up his use of Leorio's ability in other comments, but for good reason. Oftentimes when a secondary character describes another ability, it becomes tedious and merely expository. This can be alleviated by doing the proper work to build up the ethos of the speaker. When Ging uses Leorio's ability, not only does he get to do the exposition of how the ability works and have the proper build-up of credibility from countless alluded to and perceived experiences, but we actively strengthen his own credibility by having him showcase the ability itself. It's brilliant multitasking that serves to establish the ability, showcase Jing's strategy and ingenious, and simply one of the most entertaining moments in the series. Fully agreed. It's so cool that we have, it's the ultimate two birds in one stone moment. We're getting Leorio's ability explained to us while, and it's from Ging, who isn't even his ability, but he's just that cool. He got hit by it once, and it's just a crazy flex. It's a very, very cool scene. Yeah. I absolutely agree. One aspect that I think most people are curious about is the nature of his ability and Nen type. The general consensus I've witnessed and one I subscribe to is that he's either a specialist or an enhancer. Me too. I think he's one of those two. I kind of lean to specialist, but enhancer would make a lot of sense, especially with the Gon similarities. Although I do think it might be possible that when Gon regains his Nen, he is a new Nen type. I don't think that's out of the cards, since he would have undergone such a huge character transformation. But we'll see. I personally think that seeing Ging, the character with perhaps the single greatest Nen genius we have witnessed, exploring the seemingly simplest element of the magic system would be a great way to expand upon its applications and set up a comparison to his kid. Given their similar upbringings, the similarity in Nen type would be a logical outcome. Yeah, he just touched on what I said. Specialist, because if any character was to have an ability that violated the norms, it would be him, and his personality, the way he draws people to him while being a loner, is sufficiently aligned with our understanding of the affinity. Great point. I flip-flop on which affinity I would prefer. Whichever we get, I hope it feels distinctly smart in the way someone who designed a complete video game using Nen would approach their ability. Facts. Yeah, definitely. That's... Togashi's got... Maybe he's taking so long to reveal it simply because it's just hard to live up to. This dude made a whole video game. It's going to be hard to come up with an ability that matches that, right?
For sure.
I know people have discussed he may have a symbiotic colony type enhancer ability that strengthens his allies. But I struggle to see Togashi going in that direction given the presence of a certain similar Nen beast in the succession one. That, and also I don't think Ging, he cares a lot about his friends and relationships and he values them, but not to the extent where it's his main ability. Because he spends most of his time by himself. Yeah, he spends most of his time by himself. If he was someone who was always in a group, that would make sense for Crollo more than it does, I mean, Crollo does have that kind of ability. But yeah, he's not a part of any group. He's a part of several groups, but he's not a part of them at the same time, you know? Like he's just like a one-man kingdom who just has alliances all over the place, you know? An idea that's been tossed around. An idea that's been tossed around is he may have an ability that enhances his mental acumen and capacity to learn. An idea that I find appealing and would kind of sidestep the idea of a unique ability in an interesting way. But I don't know if it just kind of feels like a cop-out in some ways. I get that. And with specialist abilities, he could go really wild with it. If he's a specialist, I suspect it will be the ultimate culmination in the audience of what specialization actually is and can do, finishing the expansion of its nature explored in the Succession War. Thinking on this topic is difficult as there's a bunch of directions that can be taken. It's one of the big questions I have for the series, and I really hope we get a satisfying answer. Can't say I've given anywhere near as much thought as you have on Jing's Nen ability, but I'm really liking everything you're saying here. It's definitely a lot cooler than I gave attention to. Guessing Nen abilities is just so hard though. Like I don't think I've ever guessed a single one. It's
No.
That's the beauty of Nen. It could be anything.
Yeah, it can be anything. It's a sandbox for Togashi to do whatever with. But yeah, I'm probably in the minority here, but I'm so hyped for Ging and the Dark Continent expedition that if Togashi came back in 411 and blew up the boat, ending the Succession War plotlines to focus on this, I wouldn't even bat an eye. Definitely in the minority, bro.
Whoa.
That's insane.
Huh.
No, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. No, I appreciate the
Valkenberg's
enthusiasm.
funeral.
I would bat 17 eyes, bro.
Yeah.
Jing's little social mind game was so fun, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him actually run this wonderfully colorful group of characters. I'm skeptical we're even gonna get to see it, honestly. Probably we will, but I'm kind of skeptical that the Beyond team lasts too long. Just after 401 just fucking it threw a wedge into everything I thought I knew about Beyond.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah, maybe. Well, he is number 2. Well, a theory just popped into my head. Maybe he wanted to position himself as number 2 because he's expecting Beyond to die in the Succession War, and he wants to take over. That's possible.
Hey, comes back to my theory. Beyond assassination. Watch out.
Oh
it's
my
happening.
god. When was the last time we heard about the Beyond assassination theory? Okay.
Since
We gotta
I've
bring that
talked
up
about
again
it.
in our theory video.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, maybe that could explain why he wants to be number 2. But anyways, that's just a random shot in the dark. I mean, we could basically have him breaking down all their abilities and coming up with tons of fun little tactics. What we've gotten with them is so fun. The scenes of him winning people over are honestly my favorite in the entire arc. We got some serious Ging lovers in the comments. We love to see it. As we get further in the series, his placement in the top 5 Nen users is super fascinating. Given that Netero seemed to be excluding himself, it alludes to a tier of Nen excellence that lies somewhere between the raw strength of the ants, with the cunning and experience exceeding that of the extermination squad. With Beyond Netero, we've almost certainly gotten another member to add to Ging, and the Green Island elevator lady? Oh, okay. That's a joke. I took him seriously.
Do you know about
for a second. No, is it like a channel meme?
No, in 1999, there's a.
Oh, yeah,
legendary-
1999.
Okay. Yes.
Because he said Green Island. Isn't that Heaven's Arena?
Oh, wait. He meant Heaven's Arena. I filled that in.
He definitely meant Heaven's Arena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know exactly what scene you're talking about.
Yeah.
But we simply have not seen them seriously engage an opponent in anything beyond the battle of wits. I'm really curious what the bounds of this will be as the seeming pinnacle of normal human expectations. Will it be closer to the extermination squad or Chimera Ant levels of strength? I have to imagine Togashi will have a tough time designing abilities that meet the expectations he has set, but I'm eager to see. Yeah, he definitely will. Greed Island has been talked about him many times, but the utter insanity of his complexity is one of the most extreme feats in the series. I wonder if we could see the construction of a similar type of Nen system for the Dark Continent expedition.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the next stage for Nen. I mean, Succession War has really upped it. Post-mortem Nen has become seriously important. Yep. But Nen is basically just like the physics of the Hunter x Hunter universe, right? And since the Dark Continent is like a whole new space, I expect there to be some like new elements added to the power system. Maybe stuff that can only are only accessible in the Dark Continent. maybe things that can be brought back. But yeah, I really expect Togashi loves Nen. I mean, Nen is like half the story, you know. So I think it's gonna level up in some ways and have a bunch of new layers added to it if we ever reach the Dark Continent. So yeah, but thank you. That was a ton of fun to read. Insert name, amazing comment, and thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you as always. Insert name, another banger comment.
Yeah, absolutely. No notes, really. No, you hit pretty much everything. That was, yeah, no notes.
Yeah,
I got nothing.
Absolutely.
Fair.
All right. Well, that does it for community comments this week. Thank you to everybody who wrote in. We got a lot of comments this week, so really appreciate that. I'll give the usual reminder again, if you want to get in on the fun with discussing any of these topics, make sure you keep an eye out for the YouTube community posts, as well as our call-out posts on Twitter and Bluesky. And, of course, you could always email us your thoughts at hunterassociationpod@gmail.com.
Absolutely. And with that, this has been the Hunter Association. Thank you so much for listening. We are available on all major podcasting platforms, as well as YouTube for the video version. Be sure to follow, rate, review, and comment on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can also follow us on Twitter at TXHXAPod, as well as Bluesky at THAPod for updates on the show and an alternative way to submit responses to the weekly call-out posts. As always, we'll be here the same time every week talking about Hunter x Hunter. Oh, sorry for last week, by the way. I forgot. We didn't have an episode last week.
Yeah, apologies. A lot of things happened last week, but we're good now. Thank you, everybody, for the kind words. I really appreciated that.
First, Radman, thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast having you once again. We always love having you on. Where can people find you online?
I appreciate it, man. It was a blast. It was a blast being here. Where can everyone find me online? Just YouTube, Radman. I would shout out the Twitter, but it's been deactivated for a couple of weeks. I needed a break from that cesspool of a place. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to come back, honestly, but we'll see. Just YouTube, Radman. I make videos on Hunter x Hunter sometimes, usually on other things, though. But yeah.
Yes. Again, I always want to mention your Yuhabaha video. I love that so much. Like 1.5 hour long video. It was a banger. My favorite thing you've ever uploaded.
You. I appreciate it. It's my favorite thing I've ever uploaded. You'd love to see it.
Hell yeah.
A lot of cool videos about a lot of cool different series. Eagerly anticipating JJK modulo content in the future, maybe. Hopefully. Hopefully. I've actually only read the first chapter, but I will be continuing soon enough. I think that, especially some of the recent chapters, they'd be up your alley, I think, for sure. But
I've seen a lot of promising things. I'm not too against spoilers, so I see some things all over the place, and I just read them because I don't really care too much. And it's definitely piqued my interest. I'll be there soon. I'll be there soon for sure.
Awesome. Can't wait to hear it.
And Dylan, where can people find you?
You can find me online at DJ Tengen. That's DJTENGEN on both Twitter and Bluesky. I am still stuck on Twitter. Has me by the balls, unfortunately. Sorry. But yeah, go check me out if you're interested in seeing what I'm up to. I mean, I'm just a one-piece trading card game player now at this point, so it's been a lot of that, obviously. I say that every single week, but that's the truth.
Yeah, it is the truth.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you can find me on Bluesky and YouTube. I'm not still on Twitter. Haven't been for about a year, so
proud of you.
To me.
Nice to see it.
Yep, YouTube, Twitter, or not YouTube, Bluesky, Manga Kaige. Check me out. Talk about manga.
Surprise!
Yeah, I'm back.
Hey, good shit.
Thanks. As for the show, you can check out next week's episode. We are going to do what we were going to do last week. The schedule for 99 is kind of shifted. We will be talking about episodes 52 to 54. Yep, that's right.
Yep.
And we're going to continue until the next character retrospective at the beginning of the month. We're as we said before, we're going to go on 99 until chapters are back. Just hard committing to see if we can finish it, but I kind of doubt we can. But we'll get as far as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all we got. Before we go, next week, by the way, Owl is coming to 99, so that's huge monumental moment.
Sorry that of all batches was the one that had to be delayed, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's all we got this week. So thank you guys for watching or listening, and we will see you guys next week. Later, guys.
Take care, everybody.
Peace.